ABC Sport Digital Radio. Your home of football. ABC Sport.
On ABC Sport, this is the 2025 AFL Finals.
Stilthorpe finishes it off. Crows are rolling.
They've enjoyed their week. They've enjoyed now saying, OK, there's a taste, let's go and do it again. It's a game of footy, it's a final. We put ourselves in a position to have a double home chance, a pretty good effort. Let's just go and beat Hawthorn.
This is my name, this is my story. This is my town, my territory. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the end of the road. You want to win it all? Better be ready to go.
Let's fly from 45 and ride it all the way home. 2 for Guinea.
It's the time of year where you want to be playing footy. I think every player is really excited by what's in front of us.
Welcome to the show. You want to win it all? Better be ready to go. Welcome to the end of the road.
This is the first semi-final, Adelaide versus Hawthorn, live from the Adelaide Oval.
45 to get the party started.
The 2025 AFL Final Series.
To finish it off, it's good.
On radio, on digital, and on the ABC Listen app.
It is showtime. The Crows and the Hawks once again in September from 1993 and Adelaide's first ever finals win to 2007 and Lance Franklin's rise to superstardom with that late goal at Docklands to 2012 and Brenton Sanderson's team falling agonisingly short in a pulsating preliminary final to 10 years ago and now to tonight. For the 5th time it'll be the Crows and the Hawks in the spring. And high stakes at the end of it. The winner through to the last 4. The loser, their season will end tonight. We are less than 40 minutes away. There are no late changes here at Adelaide Oval, which looks a complete picture again tonight. A stunning backdrop. And there are no late changes. Josh Rochelle returns for the Crows, but he will do so as the sub. And Chankwath Jaff for the second week running is the sub for the Hawks. Corbin, Middlemas and Aaron Bryans to call the footy. Our All-Australian duo in Josh Francou and Scott Thompson to talk you through it throughout the night. A fascinating matchup. They've met twice already this year. I was lucky enough to do both these games. They were spaced 7 weeks apart. Both sides won 1 each. There were 3 lead changes in the final quarter of both games. And out of the 8 quarters played, they won 4 each. It felt like at the end of it, after that much footy, there is nothing between these two teams, which sets the table beautifully for what we're in for tonight.
Well, the round 21 game, we called that, as you said, Corbin, and it was a really strange game. I think there were 17 goals kicked to the northern end.
That's right.
Is that right? 17 goals? Maybe more?
I think it was 23-5.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
23-5.
Yeah. And just the momentum swings. Hawthorn came out the blocks and made Adelaide look second rate.
And
then
large momentum swings.
Yeah.
We're not talking 2-3 goals and then it's a bit of a grind for a while. Like the Hawks jumped the Crows here last time they played, 5 goals to 1 or 6 goals to 1 in the first quarter. And then the Crows piled on 6-0 in the second quarter. So given the goals scored at one end, but the momentum swings were large and neither side at any particular time was able to, cull that momentum at any particular time.
32 points up that night. If you go back to round 14, that was that freezing cold night in Launceston where it was 4 degrees. Adelaide led by 21 points in a low-scoring game in the second quarter, and they probably felt like the Crows that they were hard done by not to win that night. It was a late winner for John Newcombe, which ultimately got the Hawks home. And yet there were Hawthorn fans I ran into at the airport today were saying, we thought we should have won the Adelaide Oval game. So it really sets up beautifully, doesn't it, that they meet again tonight with both teams feeling like, hey, we could have won both. They could have quite easily won neither of those encounters.
And I think the other thing with that, first V8, it's not a real traditional first V8, is it?
No, it's not. The gap's not that big.
It's not that big.
Yeah, and we go back to that game in Tassie. That was an ugly game of football. It was about 1 degree, Friday night footy. It was like they were just trying to boost Tasmania to promote AFL in that state even more so, given their teams coming in. But, gee, that was boring and ugly to watch on the TV.
Let's hope it's more round 21 and less round 14. Winner advances to a preliminary final to meet the Cats next Friday night, and for the loser, their season is done. 4 quarters from now, it is Adelaide and Hawthorn, the first semi-final on our air here on ABC Sport. Great to have you with us. Corbin, Middlemas and Aaron Bryans to call the footy, and our All-Australian pair. Twice a place getter in the Brownlow, Josh Francou, the 300-gamer, Scott Thompson, to talk you through it throughout the night. And we're just awaiting the captains to make their way to the middle. And our man, Matty Samet, who tasted defeat for the first time last week, the Crows saxophonist, is into his work. Sicily and Jordan Dawson meet in the middle of Adelaide Oval ahead of the first semi-final. Tom Wilson is on the boundary for us. Tom.
Yeah, it's a wonderful atmosphere down here, Corbin. What a setting it is. And James Sicily, the Hawthorn skipper, has won the toss and will kick to the riverbank end of the ground. We have perfect conditions for footy. It's currently 12 degrees, hardly a breath of wind. Could get as low as 7 tonight, but we know the footy will be hot. Let's wrap up the benches for you. Zach Taylor, Mitch Hinge, James Beatling and Brodie Smith for the Crows. And the man who hasn't played for 10 weeks, Josh Rochelle, will be the sub for the Hawks. It's Connor Nash, so won't be going to Jordan Dawson from the first bounce, but expect to see those two together throughout the night. Jack Scrimshaw, Sam Butler and Connor McDonald. Chung Kwok Jiat is the sub. There's a big talking point going into last week on where Max Michaelani would play. He was playing that forward role. He'll be going straight into defence tonight and probably to public enemy number 1, Jack Ginnivan. Corby.
Who's your pick, Tom?
Topsy-turvy. It's hard to know. Get the feeling. I just feel like the Hawks are finals hardened and they'll come away and steal it when they fell just short last year. They'll do it tonight.
Josh and Scott?
Look, I think Hawthorn, I think they've got the edge in the midfield slightly and too much speed in the front half. And I'm worried about Adelaide's mentality coming into this game if things don't go well early.
Tomo?
Do you need an answer?
Yes.
Hawthorn?
Wow. I'm really nervous. A clean sweep, but I was going to go Hawthorn as well until James Sicily decided to kick to the non-scoring end. 23 goals to 5 at the northern side. What are you doing?
Not a breath of wind out there, gentlemen. Perfect night.
Put me down for the home team. I can't believe it. Here I am in enemy territory and all the locals are on the visitors. What a setting it is. The stakes are simple and understood. If you want to train tomorrow, you got to win tonight. It is the first semi-final, Adelaide versus Hawthorn. Finals footy on ABC Sport. Here's Aaron Bryans.
Sam Berry straight to Jai Newcomb, as we've seen through the year. Jordan Dawson matched up against James Worpel. Lloyd Meek wins it down. Here is Worpel. It's coming back. Non-controlling umpire spotted a free. And you can tell by the crowd, it's the visitors. Jai Newcomb just wide of the centre circle. Putting together an ominous finals portfolio. Sends Hawthorn inside 50. Front position was Lewis. Knocked it down. Hands it to Gunston. Snap from 30. Hawks go bang! It took 25 seconds. And then the easels start wobbling around South Australia. Hawthorn struck first. 1 straight 6. Adelaide yet to score. Jack Gunston's on the board in the semi-final.
Josh, it's not the way you want to start a big final, giving away a free kick to the bloke that we've spoken about for Hawthorn as the barometer through the middle of the ground and just penetrate the forward 50. I did notice in the back half for Adelaide that Laird has gone to Ginnivan.
That's a bit of a worry. And the other matchup is Miller has gone to Watson, so plenty of speed at ground level. Wayne Miller will have his hands full if Hawthorn are able to get enough inside 50s.
So it looks like Michaelani's got the job on Moore in the back half for the Crows.
Last time they met, he kicked the first goal that night. Jack Gunston against his old team, of course, after a stint with Brisbane in between 2 runs at the Hawks and all those years ago. Starting here at West Lakes with the Crows. 1 straight Hawthorn, Adelaide yet to score. Back in the middle, O'Brien to hit out. Newcomb the clearance. He's up and moving early. Kicks inside 50. Michaelani tries to intercept. Got it away to Miller. Fumbles. Spills to the Wizard. The Waverley Wizards on the board. Watson goals. The Hawks have 2 in 2 minutes. And the Crows are flat-footed at home. 2 straight yet to score. Finals footy on ABC Sport. Josh Francou, Scott Thompson.
Well, 45 seconds ago we spoke about who's going to win. I was worried about Adelaide's mentality. If Hawthorn can start this game well, they couldn't have started any better. 2 goals within the space of a minute. They look dangerous in the middle. Newcomb's already having an influence and they look really electric ahead of the ball inside their forward 50, the Hawks.
Well, yeah, 2 centre bounces, 2 clearances, 2 centre clearances to Jai Newcomb, and we've spoken about Hawthorn's ability to put pressure on the ball, and that's exactly what we saw just then.
One of the big things is why Adelaide all year, when they're under siege, they bring up the boxing glove on the boundary line. It's already out for the Crows. They need to fight their way out of this start.
Wow. The Hawks had the first 5 in round 21. And they've gone bang, bang in the first 2 minutes in the semi-final. How do Adelaide respond? Pressure through the roof. O'Brien down, but it's sharp by Newcomb. Another clearance for the Hawks. Warple, a helicopter. Chol rises 40 out, can't take it. Picked up cleanly by Worrell. Shoots the handball out for the Crows. Neil Bullen tried to send it back in. It was a hot footy for Michael Annie. Chol cuts it off. Rolls towards the left forward pocket. Watson becomes the tackler, but Worrell breaks through. Retreats back to Laird. He'll arc around in the right back pocket and heave it out of dodge. Platt converges at right half back. Fogarty couldn't control it. Quick kick back into the 50. Wasn't 15. Chol hands it out wide. Screwing kick central for the Hawks. Weddle was the target. Couldn't control it. Couple of fists come in. Gunston's there again. The old enemy lowers the eyes. Kick wasn't enough towards Warple, so he'll bang it off a step from 45 and miss to the right. Oh, the Hawks look hot. And Adelaide looks shell-shocked. Hawthorn by 13 in the semi-final. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
Just got to get their hands on the footy as Laird marks in the back pocket. Goes long down the wing. D'Ambrosio trying to avoid the tackle. Got it out to Newcomb. Handball to Barris. Now he kicks himself. A high bomb to Gunston. Wrestling with Keane. Keane does well. Holds him out. Spoils. Worrell for the Crows. Sweeping hand pass out of bounds. Umpire says...
Oh, he's paid it.
Insufficient intent.
I don't mind that. Wasn't a lot of pressure other than perceived on Worrell and just went for the safety of the boundary line.
Free kick for Guinea. Centering kick finds Amon, who marks low down, half forward. 60 metres out. Carl Amon loads up with that raking left boot. He has kicked a home run. Drop punt. And the Hawks are dancing on them early. Hawthorn with 3 goals inside 5 minutes. And Adelaide are stunned. 3-1 yet to score. We haven't even gone 5 minutes elapsed on the game clock. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Scotty, just some of the numbers. And again, it's a very small sample size, but the contested ball 9-4, the uncontested 10-3 in favour of Hawthorn. The inside 57 zip already, and the clearance count 3-0. Adelaide's defenders are under siege, and as you said, they look absolutely shell-shocked, the Crows.
They are shell-shocked, and they can't get their hands on the ball.
Yeah.
And every time they do, they look panicked.
Yep.
Hawthorn's pressure's outstanding, but the Crows are panicking with the ball. Nowhere to move, purely because of Hawthorn's intent and pressure on the player.
There's a pretty big prize fight coming up on Sunday with Canelo and Crawford, and this is, dare I say it, this is danger signs early for a first-round knockout.
Yep.
Couple of early hooks from the Hawks. Adelaide need a response. Meek flies early. O'Brien stayed down. Neither got a clean tap. They collapse into the footy. And a ball up in the centre.
At least here they've got a secondary stoppage, which is actually a win based on how this first quarter's unfolded already.
Hawks by 19. Meek with the double tap to Warple. Bundled out of his hands. Nash couldn't control it. Berry tries to barge through. Caught by a couple of bodies. Rolls towards Laird. He dives and wrenches it in. He's got Warple to beat, but just can't extract a disposal. Umpire comes in. Ball up. Tom Wilson downstairs.
Yeah, shell-shocked is the right word, Aaron. And the Hawks are up and about. Every player is getting down every time to the goal square to congratulate their players who've kicked a goal. They got 3 in the first 6 minutes.
It is the nightmare every Crows fans would have had during the week. A Hawthorn hot start after an underwhelming qualifying final. Here they come out of the stoppage. Chain of handballs to Impey. Up to right half forward. Nudged off his kick. Bounced a little wide of his target, Lewis, and Murray decides to leave it as it rolls over the boundary line. Hawthorn by 19. 6 minutes in on ABC Sport.
Even then, Josh, around the stoppage, they've got great intent on the inside, but their shape on the outside, 4-0 from clearance at the moment, but it's their shape around the ball that looks really strong at the moment.
What a jaw-dropping start to this first semi-final, and already the Hawks lead it by 19. If you're 5 minutes late, you missed a stunning opening from Hawthorn. Weddle can't get a kick away. Saligo wins it, gives it to Berry, kicks in front of the benches, slides out of bounds in front of Thilthorpe.
Scotty, I think further to that point, Adelaide clearly are worried about their ability to win clearances, so they're bringing a forward up, which means Hardwick is the one that's sitting off the back of the stoppage, and that chain of handball, he was really influential. So you're sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul, but I'd say reset your forwards, get 6 ahead and go 1-on-1 ahead of the footy.
Boundary throwing, Meek pushed out of the way, but both rucks miss it. Peatley in a critical touch in front of Dawson. and tackled immediately by Butler, taken to ground. Ball spills out. Laird from the rubble collects, gives it to Peatling. Handball back to Dawson for the Crows. Tumbles a kick down to half forward. Sicily goes to ground along with Neil Bullen. Thilthorpe paddles it out in front. Keys runs into Newcomb. Still got it out to Thilthorpe.
Every possession is hard, but Thilthorpe gets it to Peatling. He'll hack it into the 50, a hit and hope. The fly came across. Mark unable to be taken by Cumming. Hits the deck front and square. Saligo thought he was held. He tried to milk a free kick. Won't be paid, and Hawthorn run away with it. Impey out to the eastern side. Kick is a little bit long. Trying to target Lewis, who did keep it in play. Adelaide had the numbers, though, a 2-on-1 against Watson. Little handball for Murray. And now Worrell in board with a dinky kick that wasn't 15 to Taylor. They've got to keep moving. Hinge now. Flares it into the scoreboard pocket. Walker was the target. Getting back was Scrimshaw. Knocked it down towards Battle, and he thumps it out of defensive 50.
The kick will be picked off. Worrell takes the intercept mark. Goes laterally for the Crows. Finds Laird. Spent time in the midfield last week. Back in the back six seemingly tonight. Hinge to Dawson. He's their prime mover. The motor that makes it go. Kicks to full forward but overcooks it, and Battle picks it off at fullback for the Hawks. The All-Australian.
Didn't mind that ball movement though from Adelaide. Came around the arc. Just didn't blast forward to an outnumber, but smart play. Just the connection inside forward 50 lacking at the moment.
Tabs it to the back pocket for Josh Ward. And two inclusions, Rochelle and Lewis, the only two in their first final tonight. Second week in finals will do that as Ward goes long to the wing, and here's Worrell again, who's putting his fingerprints on this game early. Number of intercept marks, that's at least his third. Goes short to Dawson. Ordinarily, it's a good idea to have it in his hands. He's going to go back out wide to Worrell.
Directing traffic, wanted a lead. Eventually, Worrell decides to head inside 50. Walker tries to fly again out the back door. It bounced off the chest of Thilthorpe. Shoots out towards Cumming. Off balance, tight angle. He tries to hook it into the right forward pocket. And Hardwick rises above all with a big fist. Knocks it towards the scoreboard.
I don't mind that build-up from the Crows. Again, it was Dawson. Yeah. Just to calm and compose with the ball, just to shift the angle and make the Hawthorn defenders defend. Worrell's kick going inside just needs to lower the eyes a little bit more and try and pick one off short.
Hawks 19 to zip. Crows forward 50 stoppage. Meek the telling touch. Back out of bounds on the bounce.
At least they've been able to stem the momentum against and get a bit of control through maintaining possession of the ball, and a couple of repeat stoppages inside their forward 50. And this is where they lack and not having a rank, and they just don't look threatening, the Crows, here in this scenario.
Hawks kick the first 3 goals inside the opening 5 minutes. Back into dispute. Boundary throw in forward 50 for the Hawks. Turnover by hand. Meek coughs it up. Michael Annie gives it to Peatling. Measures the kick to the goal line. Scrimshaw trying to mark. His own teammate Barris breaks it up from him, and it spills through for a rush behind. So Adelaide's first score comes 10 minutes in. It's a minor one. 3-1 to 1 behind. Hawthorn and Adelaide. Fast start for the visitors in the first semi-final.
Big night for the Hawks defence, who conceded 72 inside 50s last week, but only 13 goals against the Giants. Scrimshaw sends it along the broadcast wing. Dunstan was the target. Collapsing at the back was Pedler up against Battle, who bowled him over. Play continues, but Adelaide get the footy. Keane, little dummy, as he balks his way through the logo, then backtracks towards Saligo, tries to check his kick up to Keys. Knocked away on the arc, picked up, tackle laid on Newcomb. Flung it out. Crowd thought it was illegally. Battle now to Scrimshaw. Hawthorn under immense pressure. And eventually it's bundled over the boundary line. There'll be a holding free kick Adelaide's way. Scrimshaw entangled with Jordan Dawson. And the skipper has it in front of the benches.
At least Adelaide have got the game on their terms at the moment, Scotty.
They have. They've stemmed the flow, abilities to be calm and composed with the ball.
Dawson to the big 3, no mark. Thilthorpe sees it down, and then a pack forms behind him. Ump says ball up.
And we spoke about Jordan Dawson, the skipper, under immense pressure coming into this contest, already influential with 4 disposals.
Yeah. All of them after that fast start for the Hawks, kicking the first 19 points of the game. They lead it by 3 goals here from the stoppage. Nash, handball out to Newcomb across half-back. Did he take on Taylor? No. Ball up as he's tackled right on the 50, half-back for the Hawks.
Newcomb started well as well, 4 disposals, influential.
Finals footy on ABC Sport. Hawthorn by 18, out of the stoppage here they come again. They're so slick and smooth. Handball from Butler, out wide to Newcomb, pushed off his kick and turns it over. Michael Annie cuts it off. He uses Worrell, now through the corridor. Laird with a sweeping hand pass to Berry. He drills it straight up the middle to Thilthorpe. Had plenty of attention from Barris, but stuck up both mitts and clunked it 40 from home. Riley Thilthorpe with the first set shot of the night for the Crows.
Well, I'm not sure who it was, Scotty, but I really liked that from Adelaide, which we didn't see last week against Collingwood. in that qualifying final. Just the forward handball. They were blasting that kick under pressure, but that forward handball opened up that entry inside forward 50, and Thilthorpe, great connect.
Great connect. I think it was Mike Lunny to Laird to then Berry.
Dropped 4 majors on the Hawks in round 21. Riley Thilthorpe crosses the paint. It's a beautiful strike of the footy. Straight through the big sticks. And Adelaide finally gets its response. The Hawks heard the starting gun and piled on the first 3, but Adelaide has responded now. 1-1-7 the Crows, the Hawks 3-1-19. 12 played in the opening term. Finals footy on ABC Sport. Aaron Bryans, Corbin Middlemas, Scott Thompson, Josh Francou and Tom Wilson with you down on the boundary.
So James Warple, the Hawks midfielder, has spent the last 8 to 9 minutes off the ground. He's been running with Jordan Dawson, and that's where Jordan Dawson in that purple patch. He had a dislocated finger. He's had that fixed up, and now he's back on the ground. Jordan Dawson came off for a couple of minutes, and he's back on as well, so he'll be going straight to him in the middle of the ground.
What I have liked from the Crows in the last couple of minutes, they have been able to intercept marks, so it's now 9 marks to 3, which has then allowed them to set up their offensive game. They've changed angles, they've created speed in the ball by hand, and it's great they're able to get reward in front of goal for the last 5 minutes controlling the game.
How annoying is that when you got a tag? You got to sit down for a minute and your player all of a sudden heats up. And Jordan Dawson worked his way into the game. Newcomb is on a heater of his own as he extracts it from the centre square. Kicks to full forward. Out the back, picked up by Hinge. Handball away to Miller, back pocket for the Crows. Long kick out to half-back. Keys shoved underneath it, and Hardwick takes the intercept mark. Dabs the kick inside 50. McDonald marks true centre-half forward for the Hawks.
Well, the other area of concern for Adelaide is the centre clearance work of Hawthorn. Newcomb's been outstanding. At the moment, it's 4 zip centre bounce.
Hold the phone. He's going to lay it off by hand. Back to Hardwick, who's a thumping kick of the footy from outside 50. He misses. Out to the left and behind. So 3-2 to 1-1, but a couple of long-range shots early for the Hawks. We're 14.5 minutes in. Hawthorn by 13.
And easier said than done against the Newcomb, because he is a bull in there and so strong and dynamic.
First possession in stoppage, 8-2 the way of the Hawks.
Yep.
Guy Newcomb has 4 already. He's quickly becoming Mr. September. He averages 33.
His form coming into the finals is pretty ordinary, wasn't it? Tell you what, he's found a...
Doesn't do well against Adelaide. Sam Berry on him. He's had 70 touches across the 2 games, so that's by average as well. Peatling now has it at left half back. Had to be precise as he flirted with the boundary line towards the benches and hits up Neil Bullen right in front of the paint. He'll arc him board. Adelaide heading inside 50. Keys looked a little lost. He didn't realise he was all alone 40 from home and was the target. Fisk came in late, knocked it straight towards the corridor. Ginnivan's there for the Hawks. Tackled but got it out. Little 1-2 with McDonald, but it was hot coming back. Hands it wide to Newcomb, slows down time and retreats back to his skipper. Sicily on the eastern side to a couple of jeers as he chips it through centre wing. Nicely placed towards D'Ambrosio. Now up at left half forward is Lewis. Didn't know what to do. Just strolled towards the 50 and is caught in the tackle of Smith. Ball bobbles out Adelaide's way. Miller back to Peatling and he dinks it up towards Fogarty in front of the Williams stand.
Looks for Walker, who takes the mark. Just inside the boundary line. Turns and kicks long to Dawson. One-on-one with Barris. Dawson couldn't quite trap it. Gathers at ground level. Turns, kicks to an unguarded goal square. The skipper needed the con bounce. Didn't get it. A minor score, so make it 1-2 Adelaide. Hawthorn 3-2. 15.5 minutes into the opening term. Finals footy on ABC Sport. As you can hear, the crowd is engaged.
I think Mitch Lewis forgot that he was playing in a final there for a moment.
Returning to the side, the one change for the Hawks. It's just his 7th game of the season, but his first ever final. Missed last year with the ACL. Speaking of, he rises over the pack off the exiting kick, but can't clutch to Specky. Coming out of the pack, Adelaide want to take the advantage. There was a free kick for a throw. Miller targeting Walker 2-on-2. Knocked down. Walker becomes the tackler and holds things up. 10 out from goal. Adelaide right back in this contest after conceding the first 3, and the crowd have joined them as well. Packed house for this sudden death semi-final. Tossed up, Thilthorpe down against Chol. Tried to win it, but knocked it straight towards Warple, who's set upon by a couple of Crows and will go again in the scoreboard pocket.
Hawks with the first 3 goals in the opening 4.5 minutes. Adelaide have settled. Thilthorpe palms it down. Scrimshaw bounces off a would-be tackle from Berry. Almost tried to bump him rather than tackle him, and then a handball ends up out of bounds forward pocket for Adelaide.
This is a win for the Crows. They've settled well now, and repeat 50s in the forward 50 is a huge result for the Crows.
Scott Thompson on ABC Sport. Finals footy. Repeat forward 50 stoppages. Knocked away, though, into the path of Moore, and he can kick it out of defence for Hawthorn. And tumbling out of play. Says deliver it. Free kick for the Crows, and they can reload as Middlemas goes back with the kick to Keane and keeps coming laterally to Hinge.
Plenty of time to think about his next move. He'll chip it over the top, then get a little in the air. Michael stood his ground with Gunston closing. He has it just forward of the logo on the eastern side. Gets a bit of pace, builds up some momentum, bangs it in the Walker direction. Barris with a huge high jump, sticks the fist in, knocks it down, and a quick whistle to force a stoppage close to the light tower.
Tell you what, Scott, you can all definitely see Adelaide have come in with a different mentality to how they want to move the ball. They're looking to change angles rather than blasting the ball forward.
Hawks by 12, Adelaide inside 50. Philthorpe down towards Neil Ball and got it to Walker. Another flying shot from Ben Keys. He needed that. Goalless last week, and he's responded in the first. As he surges away from stoppage and snaps from 30. It's a one-goal game. Hawthorn 3-2-20, Adelaide 2-2-14, approaching time on. It's finals footy on ABC Sport with Scott Thompson and Josh Francou.
What were the Crows' forward 50 stoppage numbers leading into this game without Rankin? Two points?
Yeah.
2 points. So there we go. That's a great positive result already for the Crows. And Josh, you touched on their ball movement in the build-up to getting that forward entry. I'd love to see one more piece to that puzzle where Michael from the centre of the ground still dumps it in there. I still feel that plays into Hawthorn's advantage with some of their aerial power. I know the Crows have got 3 talls, but if Hawks bring that to the ground, they've got the ability to run out. I'd love them to hit one more before they go inside forward 50, the Crows.
First 5 minutes was all Hawthorn. I've got to say, since then, Adelaide have played the game in their front half. They've had the better of the last 14 minutes, and you throw it all together, 19 minutes in, it's a one-goal game. Salih goes into the back of the ball carrier in Dylan Moore, and a free kick for the Hawks. Lays it off by hander. Impey peeling round the back, kicks inside 50, turnover, and Hinge with the intercept mark. Immediately flares it out to Pedler. And he takes the mark here, right on the logo broadcast side. Continues to move it up front. Keys between wing and half forward, decides to play on, takes on Amon on the mark, kicks it deep, Fogarty's down there, punched away by Battle. Scrimshaw wanted a free, that wasn't forthcoming, and the ball's out of bounds. Forward 50 stoppage again for Adelaide, more territory gains. Hawthorn by 6.
Once again, Adelaide's ball movement, Scotty just taking it off the line, looking to maintain possession until they hit sort of that launch zone 70 metres out. Much better from Adelaide.
Fast and fun and frenetic in the semi-final. Tossed in, O'Brien takes it out of the ruck, shoots the handball to Peatling, 20 out, brushed off one but couldn't get through Sicily, who crunches him in the tackle, and it's too high. Free kick Adelaide in a dangerous spot.
Well, I was just looking at the other umpire who was non-officiating. I reckon he was about to pay holding the ball.
He 100% was about to pay holding the ball.
Absolutely,
and it was purely because Peatling dropped the shoulder.
That's the ones the umpires have to be better. They have to be better at that. You can see it from up here. Good vantage point up here in the commentary box. But when they duck and drop that knee, that's your dead giveaway. It's play on. Or it is holding the ball.
Speaking of needing a response, James Peatling just 9 touches last week. The former Giant, now Adelaide Crow, shows exactly why they signed him. Hits it pure from 30 and scores are level. The Hawks are the first 3 in the opening 4 minutes, and now we're tied at 3-2, 20 apiece, time on in the first term. It's finals footy on ABC Sport, and it is delivering.
We're just looking at the replay again. Impey unlucky there. Peatling did drop the knee. I guess Watson does it always for Hawthorn when he's in his forward 50, but a really good response from Adelaide. Hawthorn absolutely blew the doors off of the Crows in the first 4 or 5 minutes, dominated field position, dominated inside 50s. I think it was 7-zip at one stage. It's now 10-11 Adelaide's way. Again, their ball movement, their ability to change angles, they've been able to lock the ball in their front half, build the pressure. It's game on.
We know Hawthorn's small forwards like to get up the ground, and we've seen that, and Adelaide have held their defensive shape really well, and they have the ability to turn the ball over and change the angles moving forward.
Scott Thompson and Josh Francou on ABC Sport. Finals footy, back in the middle, scores level. Newcomb got it out to Meek. Hawthorn with it, hand pass to Ward, tumbles a kick to centre half forward. Clean bowls quite a few. Hinge attacks front on. Did he get more high? No free kick, more pumps it further forward. And a pack forms the 2 number 30s, Miller and Butler, both on the bottom of all of that. So a ball up, centre half forward here for the Hawks. Kicking to the Riverbank stand end. And kicked the first 3 goals before he could blink. Adelaide with the last 3. From the ball up, comes down to Amon. He's tackled another 10 metres away from the Hawks' goal. Tim from Copenhagen off the SMS. Port supporter here in Denmark. Deeply conflicted about supporting the Crows but loving the call. Thanks, ABC. Nice to hear from you, Tim.
Brian down to Peatling in a beautiful blind turn as he releases Keys, but he hit it long unnecessarily. The Hawks were well set. Scrimshaw freed up to take the intercept mark. They'll switch through defensive 50. Scores level in the semi-final after the Hawks kick the first 3. Sicily to Impey at right half back, and now inboard to the defensive edge. Here's Hardwick. What a collection of names he's beaten over the last 2 months. Toby Green, Charlie Cameron, Jamie Elliott, Shea Bolton. Big night tonight for the Hawks defence against an Adelaide side that has scored over 113 times. And they're just sharing it around at the moment. Hardwick a little 1-2 with Impey, and they try the switch again out towards the eastern side. Sicily gets his motor on. Up to centre wing. Kick is good for D'Ambrosio, who can turn into some space. Wanted to keep going. Cutting across was Curtin. He retreats back towards Amon. Up towards the 50. Shoulder target. Knocked down. Front and square is Moore. He was lurking dangerously. Centering kick 20 from home. It dropped into the lap of Laird due to a block. And it's going Adelaide's way. Brodie Smith has it at the top of the defensive goal square.
I didn't mind that build-up from Hawthorn. You can see they want to own the ball for a while now. The Adelaide's had all the momentum, so change the angles.
Oh, good mark for Curtin, who leads up and takes it at half-back. So Smith starting. Rochelli's the sub. Chankwath Jat the sub for Hawthorn. No late changes coming in. Scores level after 24 minutes. It was Hawthorn's game early. It's been Adelaide's game since then as the long kick down the line punched out a play on the wing. So Hawthorn 3-1-19 to no score, 4.5 minutes in. From that point on, Adelaide have kicked the last 3.
And Newcomb's the one for Adelaide that they need to really clamp on. Already 8 disposals and 5 clearances.
Boundary throwing right on halfway. On the eastern side, Meek palms it down, but straight to Saligo. Hand pass out in front of Berry. Slips the would-be tackle. Hit all of that from Warple, and now retreats back by hand to Michael Annie. Off a single step, high kick flirting with the boundary line. Dawson looking to mark it. Picked out of his hands, taken by Scrimshaw, who's trying to claim the mark, and I think the umpire's happy with that. It's a mark for Scrimshaw at half-back. Scores level, 25 minutes in.
Shares it with Hardwick. Another switch through defensive 50 for the Hawks. Sicily, top of the defensive goal square. Long kick out towards Battle. He directs traffic at right half-back. Squeezes it up towards the benches. Front position on Scholl was Keane. Couldn't quite take it. Knocked over the boundary line. Keane wasn't too happy with the treatment, but they will get a boundary throw-in nonetheless. True centre wing right in front of us here. A packed Adelaide Oval. 5 to go in the opening term. 3-2-20 apiece.
Keane almost had enough of that then in that marking contest.
Tossed in. O'Brien front position. Double tap looking for Berry. Weddle got there first. He's pulled away from it by the young bull. And another boundary throw-in to come. Closer to left half forward for the Crows.
Also off the SMS, Ken from Sandringham. Hi team, there have been some very good welcome to countries, but I think tonight's might have been the best. Have a great call. Thanks from Ken. 0437 774 774. Your thoughts throughout the night. Finals footy here on ABC Sport from the boundary throw-in. Dawson had a play on it, couldn't trap it. Ward, hand pass away to Warple for the Hawks. Kicks to half forward and Miller, a strong intercept mark up in front of Butler. He's got it at half-back for Adelaide. Just stabs the kick to centre half-back for Hinge. Lays it off immediately by hand. Cruising through. The kick there is a good one from Michael Annie. Finds Peatling. Alongside the centre circles. Not confident with what's up ahead, so he's going to go with the long kick out wide and Cumming. Marks in front of us on the broadcast wing. Scores level through 26 minutes.
Cumming plays on. Drills a low bullet to Walker. Just a little hot over his fingertips and Sicily out the back. Central kick across defensive 50. Wasn't 15 towards Battle. Under pressure now. Did well to get it to Moore, who took the mark. Copped a push in the back as well. He'll bob up in front of the Wanganeen stand. What a barometer Dylan Moore is. When he strikes hot with his disposal count, the Hawks do pretty well. But against the Crows, he hasn't overly been emphatic. 15 touches around 21, and Adelaide got the job done. They move it towards the broadcast wing. Battle again, flying by. Nice kick up towards Weddle. He's at right half forward. Too far out to score, but has an option in the pocket. Gunston's all alone. Got away from Keane and decides to pull the trigger, rushing the kick towards goal. Never a chance as it fades left. Jack Gunston lets one slip there, but the Hawks have the lead again. 3-3-21. Adelaide 3-2-20. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
We can see here that the Hawthorns have gone to a real kick-mark game just to control the play for a while. Really strong positive build-up. I'd love to see Chol have a bit more urgency forward to the ball.
Hinge on the kick-out duties, runs to the back pocket, goes long for O'Brien. Juggled effort, not to be, swatted out of his hands. Still alive close to the boundary line, and in the end, Keys pushed out with it.
You'd almost imagine that Gunston would like his time again there. Just go back, settle. He's a very, very good shot for goal and have a set shot instead of making the ball live and having a kick on the run.
Hawthorn by a point, 28 minutes in, as we tick towards quarter time in the first semi-final on ABC Sport. From the boundary throwing, Newcomb, hand pass away towards Ward, to Weddle, back to Newcomb. He's been busy again. Kicks inside 50. Chol competes in the air. Spills front and centre. Butler jumps on top of it. He's tackled front on, and the ump says ball up.
Keep mentioning that man, Newcomb, 10 disposals, 6 clearances. He's causing all sorts of headaches for Adelaide around the stoppage.
Highest rated player on the ground in all 3 finals he's played.
Yeah.
Averages 33 in September. Tossed up, Meeks slaps it down in the path of Watson, who's broken away from Miller. Off balance, he's curling it towards goal. That is marvellous! The wonderful Wizard of Oz. Nick Watson turns to the crowd and embraces the Hawks supporters who've made the trip. Hawthorn up by 7. Watson's got 2. 4-3-27 plays 3-2-20. Time on in the opening term. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Scotty, we talk about those forward 50 stoppages. We looked at Adelaide. They don't have their real game breakers ahead of the ball for them. They're sitting out, obviously, with Rankin not playing, but that's the advantage of having a guy like Watson ahead of the footy for you. He's got speed, he's tough, and he can finish as he did on that occasion. That was phenomenal
That
play.
was just pure brilliance. And it was Wayne Miller for the Crows on that occasion. Needed to be more physical to take Watson away from the space that he wanted. He allowed Watson just to waltz through and then get on the outside. And we know how fast he is by foot. And then just the execution pieces at the end was outstanding.
Only needs half a look at it. Nick Watson. And that's why they spent pick 5 on him. And here he is attending a centre bounce late in the term from the restart. Nash, though, first possession. Handball to Newcomb into double digits and now up to 11. He kicks out wide. Finds Weddle against the boundary line. A high bomb inside the forward 50. Chol arriving. Chol's got it. Coming from 3 back. And Big Mabs will have a look from right half forward.
Well, that's better presentation from Chol. The Crows are playing with fire if they don't do something about Newcomb.
Well, that's what I was just about to say, Scotty. I reckon Berry, he's only had the 3 disposals. Newcomb's now up to 11 with 7 clearances. He's been hugely influential, particularly around the stoppage scenario. Almost do you go head-to-head. You put a Jordan Dawson on him. He's going to take you to where the footy is. But I agree, they've got to drop the Berry tag because it's not working for Adelaide.
That's the game, isn't it? Newcomb versus Dawson. And at the moment, it is Newcomb and Hawthorn by 7 points. Chol to stretch it out further. Kicks on the 50. Won't have the trip. It'll land on the behind line and trying to kill it through Dawson. A sloppy spoil, but in the end, it's a minor score. So Hawthorn by 8 points. We're about 90 seconds away from quarter time. 4-4 to 3-2. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
Laird plays on from the defensive goal square, takes a bounce and then launches it to the broadcast wing. They'll converge. Neil Bullen tried to sit on Chol. It was unrealistic. Went down towards the Hawks anyway. Around the body, aim on a hit and hope. Just jammed it on the boot straight towards Miller, who's looked lively early.
Started well. Yep.
Adelaide's defensive wall doing its best to be impenetrable, but it's hard when it's shooting out the middle at pace. They switch through defensive 50. Michael Lanny to Murray, and he heaves it. Trying to kill some time up towards centre wing. Floating across the pack was Curtin. Out the back is Keys. Tries to brush the tackle. Got a handball out to Curtin. They're surging now, the Crows. Up to right half forward. Fogarty's got a path. He'll bang it to an empty goal square. Could have shared it. Weddle backtracks. Dropped the mark. He should have taken, gets another chance on the bounce and surges through the right back pocket.
Weddle's second game back, kicks out of defence. Dawson on his backside almost took a slips catch, got it away to Worrell, kicks inside 50. Thilthorpe hands to it, no mark, spills through to Battle. Hand pass away to Sicily, kicks into the centre square. McDonald on the bounce, collects, somehow got a kick away. Watson outside, brings it to ground and wins it. Beats Hinge, hands down in the one-on-one. Handball to Chol, hand pass forward for Impey, hand pass out wide. 15 seconds left in the quarter. Impey sidesteps away the man in front of him, kicks to the behind line and has punched through. And as Lewis competing for it and crashes into the behind post, a boundary throwing deep forward for Hawthorn.
Just some brilliance there from, I think it was Watson and also McDonald on the outer wing. Just some really important one-on-one contest win.
There's the little man Watson in the clean one-on-one win over Mitch Hinge.
His vertical jump's outstanding, but that's a coach killer by Chol. Impey waltzes into an open goal if he puts the handball on the body.
Tossed in, Hawks 50, Meek down, was looking for Newcomb, edged away from the ball, Curtin tackled, and that'll do us for the first quarter of this sudden death semi-final. It's had a bit of everything. Momentum swings, early surges, defensive craft, and some magic from the Wizard. Hawks by 8 at the first change, 4-4-28 to the Crows, 3-2-20. The goal scorers, 2 to Watson, singles to Gunston, Amon, Peatling, Thilthorpe and Keys.
Your thoughts throughout the night, 0437 774 774, the SMS number. The thoughts of our All-Australian pair, Scott Thompson and Josh Francou. That's coming up next. This is Finals Footy on ABC Sport.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2025 AFL Finals.
AFL on your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
The stakes are simple and understood. If you want to train tomorrow, you got to win tonight. It is the first semi-final, Adelaide versus Hawthorn.
Jai Newcomb putting together an ominous finals portfolio, sends Hawthorn inside 50. Front position was Lewis, knocked it down, hands it to Gunston, snap from 30. Hawks go bang! It took 25 seconds. And then the knees will start wobbling around South Australia.
Newcomb the clearance. He's up and moving early. Kicks inside 50. Michael Annie tries to intercept. Got it away to Miller. Fumbles. Spills to the Wizard. The Waverley Wizards on the board. Watson goals. The Hawks have 2 in 2 minutes. Free kick for Guinea. Centering kick finds Amon, who marks low down. Half forward. 60 metres out. Carl Amon loads up with that raking left boot. He has kicked a home run. Drop pumped. And the Hawks are dancing on them early.
They look absolutely shell-shocked, the Crows.
Now through the corridor. Laird with a sweeping hand pass to Berry. He drills it straight up the middle of Thilthorpe. Had plenty of attention from Barris, but stuck up both mitts and clunked it 40 from home. Crosses the paint. It's a beautiful strike of the footy. Straight through the big sticks. Hawks by 12, Adelaide inside 50. Thilthorpe down towards Newball and got it to Walker. Another flying shot from Ben Keys. He needed that. Fast and fun and frenetic in the semi-final. Tossed in, O'Brien takes it out of the rush. Shoots the handball to Peatling, 20 out. Brushed off one but couldn't get through Sicily, who crunches him in the tackle. And it's too high. Free kick Adelaide. The former Giant, now Adelaide Crow, shows exactly why they signed him. Hits it pure from 30. And scores are level. Tossed up, Meek slaps it down in the path of Watson, who's broken away from Miller. Off balance, he's curling it towards goal. That is marvellous! The wonderful Wizard of Oz.
The 2025 AFL Finals Series.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio, and on the ABC Listen app.
As you can hear in those highlights, it is humming here at Adelaide Oval, and that opening term delivering. Hawthorn with the first 3, Adelaide the next 3, and Nick Watson with a stunning goal right before quarter time. Throw it all together, Hawthorn by 8. Finals Footy on ABC Sport. The thoughts of our All-Australian pair, Scott Thompson and Josh Francou.
Well, Scotty, it's been an unbelievable game of footy, hasn't it, that first quarter, as we expected from a final, particularly with what's at stake. But almost a bit of a game of sort of the first 10 minutes, then the second 10 minutes. Hawthorn dominated. They actually threw some haymakers, metaphorically speaking, and absolutely blitzed Adelaide. Their centre bounce work was outstanding. Ahead of the ball, they were dynamic. And then Adelaide started to settle, didn't they? They were able to maintain possession, dominate a bit of field position, get the inside 50s and work their way back into the contest. But What I will say is the pressure from both sides has been outstanding. Adelaide's ball movement this week compared to last week, there's been a noticeable change. Their ability to change angles, look to come around, maintain possession a little bit more rather than blasting the ball forward. I agree with you though, Scotty. That sort of last kick inside 50 at times, it's a little bit shallow, isn't it? So either look for a little connect so they can get a deeper entry, or look to run and carry and drive the ball a little bit deeper, because it does play into the hands of those Hawthorn defenders. Probably the area of concern for Matthew Nicks is John Newcomb. He's been unbelievable. 11 disposals. Berry's had the job on him. He's had 6 clearances, 187 metres gained. It's almost at the point you've got to drop that. Dawson's been okay without being outstanding. Is it at the point where they go, roll the dice head-to-head? Let's go for it.
Well, it's a good question. Do they go head-to-head? Can someone like a Neil Bullen go in there and have an impact in a run-with role, which he's done many times in the past in his days at Melbourne? But you're right, Newcomb's been a barometer. 11 disposals, 6 clearances, 4 inside 50s. He's dominated play for that first quarter. The Crows, as you've already touched on, had great ability just to control the game for a period there and get it on their terms. And we spoke leading into the game around momentum swings. What I liked about Hawthorn in the back half of that quarter, or the last third of that quarter, was their ability, once Crows had some dominance, was to go to a kick mark game. And that mark game, Crows were dominating through the middle parts of that quarter, but Hawthorn had some nice slow build-ups where they were able to change the angles, which the Crows were doing well, and wrestle momentum back. So they embraced that arm wrestle and got the game back on their terms and looked quite dangerous late in that quarter going forward again. So intriguing game of footy throughout that first quarter. Crows were shell-shocked early, responded well. Hawthorn finished the quarter on top.
Well, the other thing about that too, Corbin, is field positions everything in this modern game, and centre bounce clearances are really hurting Adelaide. It's 7-zip at the moment, so that's a number that no doubt the coaching staff at Adelaide and whoever's in charge of that midfield with Matthew Nicks would be trying to come up with some sort of solution. And I think the big thing is Newcomb's been so dynamic in there, they've got to nullify his influence.
Newcomb with 11 in the opening term. There were 17 inside 50s to 14 Hawthorn's way. So +3 for the Hawks, the inside 50 differential in that opening term. Just a couple off the SMS. Mike's enjoying the coverage from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Nice to hear from you, Mike, over there. From Jim in Limerick and Ireland, go the Hawks. Thanks to the ABC for the call. Absolutely fantastic. From Archer here in Tassie, go the Crows. I love Josh Worrell and enjoy listening to your commentary. From Zach in WA, good call, gents. Do you think that Sam Mitchell will have a pie with Jordan Dawson at half-time? And from Ron in Adelaide, enjoying the call. My heart is pounding. Come on, Crows. Nice to hear from all of you off the SMS. 0437 774 774. Second quarter's here. Finals footy on ABC Sport. The Hawks by 8.
Meek wins the tap, but O'Brien does the crumbing. Hands it off towards Berry, who's pressured by Warple. Got a handball out to Laird, darting off half-back. Spins through trouble and hands it to Salego. He barges through a couple as well. Looping handball out wide to Cumming. Through the eastern wing go the Crows. Walker's caught behind Scrimshaw and panicked and decided to grab his Guernsey. Free kick to the former Sun. Jack Scrimshaw has it at right half-back in front of the Prosciutto stand. The Hawks won first possession 16-4 in the opening term.
Huge.
Feels like Adelaide's defence is doing the hard yards so far tonight, and Josh Worrell leading the charge with 9 touches. Scrimshaw's kick was a little wide for Moore, but he caught a stray arm from Curtin. So they get some relief. True centre wing on the outer side. Dylan Moore sets it up towards right half forward. Weddle's got a run and a rise. Couldn't take the mark. Dawson on the bounce. Met heavily by Chol, and he's spun to the deck.
It looks like the Crows are sticking with what they went with in the first quarter. Berry's up against Newcomb at this stoppage right now.
Hawks to the scoreboard end, or the cathedral end of the ground. In his second term, as it comes down towards Nash, he's tackled straight away, so ball up between wing and half forward for the Hawks.
Other thing, Scotty, we mentioned that first quarter, how Adelaide were bringing a forward into stoppage. It looks like now they're holding their 6 to get even numbers ahead of the footy.
Hawthorn by 8, comes down to Nash again. This time he gets a kick away and a clearance inside the forward 50. Hinge tracking it. Chol in from the side. Chol's got it. And that's his second contested grab of the night.
This bloke is an absolute enigma. I reckon he would do your head in as a coach. I don't think I've ever seen a bloke more casual and relaxed, but can do the absolute unbelievable as he did on that occasion there. Had no right to mark that.
Yeah, had to wear one too with a swinging arm from Josh Worrell, which was all fair. He was making a play on the ball, but I think it caught Chol on the nose as he came in from the side, hugged it to his chest and took a superb pack mark.
if you're talking about intent from one of your players, he looks like he has none.
Yeah.
Like he would frustrate the absolute hell out of you. But as you said, he does things like that. But even that mark, that contested mark there, looked like he wasn't even trying.
Well, it was the arm from Hinge, my apologies, came in from the side. Worrell was his direct matchup. Mavs is okay. The shot clock is ticking down. He started his approach now on the runway for the first goal of his second term. Mabior Chol to open his account for the night. Drop punt, heads goalward, the kick. He's left. He misses. It's a 9-point margin for the Hawks. 3 minutes into the second term. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
That's the second one he's sliced off the side of his boot. One in the first quarter. Didn't even score.
Needs to play for the slice, you think, Josh? Just
possibly
change his radar.
Keane looks to exit to the broadcast wing. Meek gets in front of O'Brien. Took the mark, but they want to play on anyway. Newcomb rips it away up to Warple. Thumps it to the top of the goal square. Gunston sliding forward. Couldn't reel it in. Watson's lurking. He's hanging outside and then becomes the tackler as he wraps up Worrell. We'll get a ball up 10 out.
How do you play on from a mark?
They basically just took it away from him and ran away.
He's played a mark, it's fallen to the ground, and then he's called advantage.
Meek straight down looking for Newcomb, who was alone. Tap was a little wide. First to the footy was McElhenney, and he's wrapped up by Moore. We'll go again. Meek down looking for Newcomb. Berry on his tail. Can't control it. Wrenched out of there by Curtin. And now heads back to the broadcast wing. Scrimshaw floats across the pack. Couldn't control it. Walker wraps him up. It hits the deck. Phil Thorpe with a soccer through the logo. Centre wing. Fogarty outmatches Sicily, who kept hunting. Wraps him up with the tackle. The ball bobbles out.
Saligo had a play on it. Got it moving forward. Neil Bullen clever. Toe pokes at the key. Sweeping hand pass. Dawson, their prime mover. Trying to put a bit of bend on the kick. It bounces and bounces into the behind post.
It was on behind play. Fogarty and Sicily entangled, and I reckon Big Fog won round one.
He certainly did, didn't he? He got the 3 count then too, Sicily.
And they both run back inside the Adelaide forward 50, where there's a boundary throw-in next to the behind post. And a 9-point lead for Hawthorn. Forward 50 stoppage for the Crows. Keeping it in front of him. Keys, he soccers a goalward but misses.
He's looked a lot more comfortable tonight, hasn't he?
He has. Keys. And I like that movement. There seems to be a lot more movement through the stoppage inside the forward 50 for the Crows tonight.
Yep. 4-5 to 3-3, so it's an 8-point game. Hawthorn lead it. 5 minutes into the second term. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
Amon kicks towards Sicily. Left back pocket. Looks a bit unsure as there's a zone ahead. He'll set it up anyway. Centre wing broadcast side. Murray with the fist from behind. Saligo is front and square. Slipped through his mitts. Lewis says thank you very much. Fends off Neil Bullen but couldn't get away from Curtin. Gives it up. Now kick up the line from the Crows. Nearly cut off by Moore. Watson gets it back towards Amon. Watson with the underground handball. Gives it off towards D'Ambrosio. And he's wrapped up by Curtin. Shoots over the boundary line. It is a hot footy. The Hawks by 8.
Terrific pressure there from Adelaide. I think it was Hinge initially in that aerial contest and then a good smother. Well done, Adelaide.
Every contest just feels like the most important one of the night at the moment. An 8-point lead for the Hawks, and we're only 5 minutes into the second term. The boundary throwing will have another stoppage as Ward immediately just wraps up Peatling.
So the conversation surrounding Newcomb is now a heavy tag. So Berry has followed him everywhere and come to the interchange with him.
What an opening quarter he had. 11 touches for Newcomb in the first as Warple somehow got a kick away through the tackle down to half forward for Hawthorn. Murray intercepts for Adelaide. Gave it away by Adelaide. Hand pass to Millerer. Brushes aside Butler's would-be tackle. The shoot by Ginnivan. Kicks in the middle of the ground. Tail of the target. Knocked out of his hands. Hemke breaks it up. Says play on. Warple hand pass. His handball's picked off. Taken by Cumming. Kicks to half forward.
Slides one in the Walker direction on the bounce. Knocked it to his advantage. Sicily's behind him. Grabbed a bit of the jumper. Crows fans won't be happy with that as D'Ambrosio races away. He flares the kick to the broadcast wing and spotted the overlap. Nice pass towards Butler.
Crowd not happy, and rightly so. I'm not sure who that mark should have been paid to, but he had a really good piece of it. Should have been paid the mark, but wasn't.
Sam Butler in just his 5th game this season looks to Ginnivan. He had Michaelani right behind him. Fist came in and Michaelani's there. Little 1-2 with Neil Bullen for the Crows. Squeezes the kick around the body down towards Walker. Sicily again has got millimetres on him. They're basically wrapping each other up, and Sicily has decided to almost starfish Taylor Walker on the ground. Players continued, but James Sicily is in all sorts, wrestling every single man and his dog. The Hawks run away. Warple towards the corridor. Ward to Moore. Inside 50. Targeting Weddle. Got the fly in front of the scoreboard and takes the mark 20 from home. And they're restless at the Adelaide Oval because James Sicily is manhandling their star forwards.
Talk about the crowd being restless. So Sicily, he's, as you said, wanting to fight everyone.
He'd want a 10-minute breather on the bench there. He looked like he was in the UFC cage for a moment.
Yeah.
But after that, the build-up by Hawthorn, kick mark, lower the eyes, and a beautiful pattern by Weddle out the back, and a beautifully weighted kick to go with it.
Slide angle to the right, close to goal. Josh Weddle comes in and delivers. His second game back from his back stress fracture, and Josh Weddle looks right back and ready for professional footy. The Hawks lead up to 14 points, 5-5-35. The Crows 3-3-21. 8 played in the second term. It's finals footy on ABC Sport with your all-Australian midfielders Scott Thompson and Josh Francou.
Well, Scotty, talk about this Weddle. I think he's an absolute emerging superstar of the game. He's about 191 centimetres. He can run like the wind. He's tough. He's physical. He's aggressive. And he just showed on that occasion he can finish as well. Great above his head. He's a very, very difficult matchup. He starts to insert his influence on this game. Hold on to your hats.
Yeah, he's currently playing on the wing, but what he does do is he covers the ground beautifully for his size, and he touched on the fact that he's 191. He's beautiful above his head as well, so he's a really hard matchup in the back half and when he does break forward like he did then.
14-point lead for the Hawks. They did lead by 19 out of the gates. They get it going forward here off the boot of Nash. Kicks to centre half forward. Miller got rid of McDonald. Takes the intercept mark. Feels like there hasn't been a moment where this game's just settled into a lull, or it's been hot from the outset and continues to be the whole way through as Taylor marks on the back flank, kicks down the wing, wanting Phil Thorpe. He gets a shove, free kick for Riley.
Yeah, push or mark. But again, going back, Corbin, to the centre bounce clearances, it's still 8-1, so Adelaide's still having issues clearing the ball from the centre bounce.
Hawthorn by 14. We're 9 minutes into the second term. This is finals footy on ABC Sport. And that was the voice of Josh Francou alongside Scott Thompson. Tom Wilson on the boundary line. Corbin, Middlemas and Aaron Bryans calling the footy. And it's Adelaide by 14. 9.5 gone in the second term. Short kick to Cumming in front of the benches. Long to a pack at half forward with a contest kick. Slips out the back of the pack. Keys paddles it out in front. Somehow got boot to ball. Needs it to talk as he kicks it all the way to the behind line. And it's hurried through by Weddle. And kicked the goal at the other end. He saves one. Down back.
Keys is looking dangerous, too ahead of the ball, isn't he?
Hawks by 13.
Quick exit. Aon running through the right back pocket. Hands it off to Weddle. Close to the boundary line on the eastern side. Looks back inboard to Amon, who's just blazing by. Got a handball bouncing its way up through the logo. Clean gather by Butler. Looks inboard to Ward. He slices his way past Saligo. Heads inside 50. Standing down was Gunston. He was running back at the flight. Didn't really turn to the drop. Keane knew where he was going. Cuts it off for Adelaide, but his kick isn't great. Meek got in front of Pedler. Now D'Ambrosio hands it to Nash. 50 out. He'll share it into the pocket, but just a little too long for Lewis. They were queuing up for it. And now it's a boundary throw in right forward pocket for the Hawks, who lead by 13.
Tell you what, if Lewis had have marked that ball, I reckon there would have been 5,000 Crow supporters jump the fence and strangle the umpire. I think they're complaining about, again, a mark that wasn't paid.
It was great closing speed for a big boy, Meek.
We highly recommend not doing that from the boundary throw-in as both rucks miss it completely. Meek for the Hawks. Tackled as he got a hand pass away. Ump says holding the ball. And there's a free kick one for the Crows. And Saligo's going to get it, tackling the big man. And Saligo out of defence. Can he start his night? Kicks out towards the wing, looking for Walker, overcooks it.
That's a really poor kick.
Very poor. That's the exact game the Crows don't want.
That's what they did last week.
Hardwick takes the intercept mark, comes corridor, finds Gunston, continues to move it laterally, and here's Sicily. He's been wrestling everybody out there tonight.
Hardwick read it well, though, for Hawthorn, but just that long blasting kick to a contest isn't the answer.
Here's the patience for the Hawks as they wait for the right kick inside 50. The last two have been intercept marks for the Crows, so shares it with Barris, and now back to Sicily. Where's he going? He's going long to Lewis. They come from all directions. O'Brien back into traffic, spills the mark, falls down to Miller, a kick smothered. Ricochets to O'Brien, tackled by Lewis, picked up by Murray. Lewis has got him. Tackled, taken to ground. Every single contest feels like the most important one of the night. Hawthorn by 13, a dozen minutes into the second term.
Pure finals footy. Tossed up inside the Hawks 50. O'Brien wins it down, bouncing towards Peatling. Nudged off it by Ward. Quick kick around the body to the top of the goal square. Fist comes from Keane. Hawks have the numbers on the drop. It's a bounce that favours Ginnivan. Coming committed. Ginnivan turned into a smother though from Laird. Ricochets towards Worrell. Caught in the tackle. Bobbled out to McDonald. Lost his balance as he tries to hook it across the body and kicks out on the full.
Touch ball, throw it in.
How's the pressure?
I was about to say the same thing. The pressure is elite by both teams at the moment.
So the Hawks by 13. Finals 40 on ABC Sport. And Hawthorn's in a dangerous area.
This is what we've come to love about September. As Meek palms it down out in front of Nash. Left it behind. Picked up by Laird but goes to ground. Got it out superbly to Dawson. Kicks to the wing. Over the head of Phil Thorpe. He was being held. And Phil Thorpe will get it. Right in front of the Adelaide bench, goes short with the kick to Neil Bullen. The only premiership player on Adelaide's list.
Then this is the kick. Take it off the line. We don't want to blast it long down the line from Adelaide's perspective.
Hawthorn by 13. Neil Bullen kicks out to half forward. Pedler in from the side, brings it to ground. Keys out the back. There's a free. It's a Porsche. It's Sicily's ball. Hawthorn will get it at half back here, so no change to that score. Hawthorn by 13. As many minutes gone, second term.
Just again, I don't reckon that's the kick from Neil Bullen. Take it off the line, look to switch, look to come around Hawthorn's defence.
Guess what happened there? Crowd seeing the replay, they didn't like it.
Long ball up to the broadcast wing. Fogarty gets in front of Chol. Jim takes the intercept mark. So the Hawks with 7 inside 50s to 3 in this second term, but just 2 points to show for it. Adelaide 1-1, trailing by 13 points.
This is the play.
Fogarty back to Worrell, then Laird. Shoots it straight into the middle. Hinge took the mark. Newcomb took a couple of steps forward. Umpire gives him some relief. Hinge now heads to the eastern wing. Miller in front of the Odie stand. What a night it's been for the first round pick. Short pass, close to centre wing. Taken out wide by Brodie Smith. Missed the grand final in 2017 after doing his ACL in the quali. He wants to stay on this side, and he will with passes like that. Beautiful strike, a good 50 metres up towards Dawson on the paint. The skipper took a little bit too long to decide what to do, and Hawthorn have flooded back. It's going to be a set shot now.
Yeah.
Seen the kicks travel at that end tonight, haven't we? They've really carried from long range.
Jordan Dawson steps around the man on the mark, gives it everything he's got across the face. Barris crunches the pack. It trickles to Neil Bullen. Couldn't get boot to ball with a flurry of shins around him, and it ricochets to Warple. And now McDonald. Here's the slingshot from the Hawks. It's a little bit too heavy. Dunstan had 2 to beat it off hands and rolls over the boundary line.
It's got to go back to their ball movement. I think that's better build-up from Adelaide. Darcy Fogarty actually kicked backwards, spread the field, and they were able to kick mark their way to find the hands of Dawson, who missed the kick, but better ball movement, better method going inside 50 for Adelaide rather than just bombing it long down the line.
All 4 games last weekend won by the side in front at quarter time, and it's Hawthorn playing from in front tonight. They win it from the boundary throw in here. Ward sets up McDonald, kicks into plenty of space inside 50. Lewis has got to win a one-on-one. Murray punches it away and out of bounds. Going to throw in half forward, 50 out from the Hawks goal.
A little bit of confusion there by Adelaide at that last stoppage. Only had 2 mids, which gave Hawthorn a +1 inside the contest. So it looks like Cumming was trying to talk to someone about who's playing what role.
Can that happen sometimes when you've got the hard tag on?
It can, and if rotations are happening quickly at the time as well.
Of course, Newcomb off the chain in that opening term, had 11 disposals in the opening quarter. Hawthorn lead the game by 13.
Has just the 1 in his second term, make it 2, because Chol tapped it down to him, hands it to Warple around the body inside 50. Did it carry the right meterage to Ginnivan? Umpire says no, and he's wrapped up. 40 from home, ball up to Corbin. It's getting feisty. Oh, there's a lot of feeling in this. Win or go home. Chol wins it down straight to Newcomb again. Tried to barge his way through Peatling and wouldn't let him go. Boa constrictor, ball up again. Brown thought it might have been holding the ball there. Phil Thorpe down straight to Peatling. Dukes it off towards Berry. Backtracks with a handball to Smith. Now Berry again. Breaks the ankles of Watson. Kicks out a defensive 50 in a rush of blood. Straight down the throat, though, of the Hawks. Cut off by Ward. Wide to Warple. Now to Lewis. Fist came from Murray. Ginnivan was surging by and turned into a brick wall. He is mowed down. Jack Ginnivan cops a head rub from Josh Ward. Hawks by 13.
The pressure from both sides is suffocating, isn't it? No room to breathe, no space to move, as we saw on that occasion. Ginnivan ran into a brick wall.
Where do we sit on the head rub from Worrell?
Don't like it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
The kick from Cumming out of defence, punched out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in front of the benches.
Berry's responded well, Scotty.
He has very well.
Yeah, he was under pressure at quarter time. Newcomb dominating the contest, dominating the clearances. He's clamped him.
Shelley and Jaff, the two subs, neither of them used so far. Hawthorn lead the game by 13. We're 18 minutes into this second term. The first semi-final winner plays Geelong on Friday night in a prelim. And the loser is done for the campaign from the boundary throwing. We'll have another ball up. And another stoppage as Peatling tackled.
Sorry, but once again, Adelaide just look better ahead of the ball when they've got 6 ahead and even numbers and not giving Hawthorn a spare.
Joel Rucking shares it down with O'Brien. Kicks off the deck. The volley inside 50. Gunston trying to get a hand pass out. Swatted down. Curtin grabs it. Warple's got him. Gee, it's tough footy at the moment. And another ball up right on the 50 for the Hawks. This quarter, we've only had the one goal. It's been absorbing footy. That came at the 8-minute mark. We're now 19 minutes into the second term. Just the one goal, Hawks by 13.
And the ruck contest, Riley O'Brien took a bit of attention from Child. Receives the free kick.
Probably should have handled to Miller then.
Could have taken the advantage and instead will hop back. Called the play on, didn't realise. Scholl closes, smothers his kick. Went towards Warple on the broadcast wing, got it out to Moore. His kick impeded. Now Curtin tries to spin through trouble. Hands it to Cumming, then Berry. The Crows now surging. Peatling to Saligo, can turn. Dink it over the top. Walker's all alone. He marches to 50. Pulls the trigger. It looks so good. And it finishes wide right. It was online and just a late fade.
He had Fogarty coming at him too.
He did, and Fogarty had definite separation on his opponent. But the build-up, Josh, you've touched on it before, the build-up was wonderful. Their ability just to hit the short. If Hawthorn don't want to go with them, they have to pick them off all night.
Hawks by a dozen. Sicily kicks into centre square. No mark for Worrell. Spills it down. Coughs it up. Ward back with it for Hawthorn. Dangerous handball for Battle. He spikes it back to Ward. Hand pass away towards Ginnivan. Giddy kicks out wide and the Hawks are on again. Butler marks in plenty of space. Closes to 70 out. Kicks inside 50 and Lewis takes the sprawling mark out at right half forward for Hawthorn against the boundary line.
I'll tell you what, you talk about players with composure. We saw it last week. We know Nick Dacos is a superstar. I reckon Ginnivan was outstanding on that occasion. Just didn't panic. Hit the lateral wide kick to set up that inside 50. Really well done, Jack Ginnivan.
High footy IQ for all the carry on and the theatrics that go along with Jack Ginnivan. That is the one thing you can't knock him for. Hard worker, smart footballer. Lewis from an extremely tight angle. It won't have the trip. It'll land short and it's punched through by Cumming. A minor score. Hawks by 13 points. Time on second term. Tom Wilson on the boundary.
Yeah, a couple of minutes ago, Crows defender Mitch Hinge hobbled off the ground in a lot of pain. He's been on the bench, got his right boot off, and they're doing all the tests on his ankle. Josh Rochelle hasn't moved at the back, so that's a positive sign for the Crows.
Keen to Cumming and now Laird at right half back. Hawks by 13 points. Their all-time disposal leader, Rory Laird, switches through defensive 50 to Michael Annie. And now the man from County Corp, Mark Keane, in a bit of space near the light tower. Looks central. Miller just inside the defensive 50 arc. Keane rides shotgun and gets the footy back. Doesn't really know what to do with it. And very late, spots Neil Bourne in space, who can turn on a dime. His centre wing broadcast side up towards the 50, 2-on-2. O'Brien with a big stroke on knee. Takes the mark. Now sends it into the pocket of Walker, who says Ruckman can't kick. That was lace out to one of the lead. And the Texan has it 25 from home on the tight angle.
And on the theme of composure, Mark Keane. Superbly done. He never looks panicked with the ball, does he?
No, he doesn't. It was a beautiful kick out to Neil Bullen with a bit of time and space. And what looked good for the Crows forward of the ball, and they've equalised, so it was one-on-ones everywhere, so it makes that forward entry that whole lot easier.
Taylor Walker opens the angle, plenty of curl, but started right. And another minor score for the Crows. Lead down to 12 points here at the Adelaide Oval. The Hawks 5-6-36. Adelaide 3-6-24.
I think his first 2 goals to start the final series, Taylor Walker. He's now missed his last 5 across 2 weeks, so 0-2 tonight. As Amon brings it in and comes wide with the kick to Moore. And goes back to Scrimshaw. 12-point game, 22 minutes gone, second term. Finals footy on ABC Sport in the first semi-final. Hand pass to the runner, Battle, trying to get something going. Long to a one-on-one. Keys punches it away from Indy. McDonald on in the middle of the ground, back edge of the centre square. Turns, kicks out for Weddle. Never took his eyes off it. Takes the mark. Tackled down by Smith. Smith's going to win a free behind the ball. They said Weddle was off. Josh is pleading his case. Smith's going to be rewarded. And Josh Weddle, who was the only one looking at the footy, took the mark. The umpire said he took too many steps, and Brett Roseberry told him to play on, and now he's saying the same to Laird.
Hands back to Keenan, defensive 50. Another mark for the Irishman. The league's leading intercept player. And they've done a lot of hard work tonight. That back six, this kick is poor. It was shallow to Michaelani. He slid in, committing to the mark and didn't get there. Newcomb rips it away, releases more. Full stride, 20 from home. And he bangs it into the hill. The Hawks pounce on turnover. And their lead is up to 3 goals. 6-6-42 to the Crows, 3-6-24. 23 played in the second term. It's finals footy on ABC Sport.
Well, when the goals have dried up and there hasn't been a whole lot of scoring in recent minutes, that kick there, Nixie he's got no hair. I don't know where he'd be pulling it from, but that would be driving him crazy. That missed kick there and the turnover inside the Crows D50 is just heartbreaking.
You made this point at quarter time, Scott, just about Hawthorn's ability to absorb when it's not happening. And then, what's the old saying? We don't have to score now, we've got to score next.
Even it just gave Keane a rap in terms of his ability to stay composed with the ball in hand. And even if he hit the kick, I don't reckon that was the kick in that scenario. Because it was always going to come back with interest if you were if it got turned over, which it did on that occasion, and bit Adelaide.
Hawks the first 3 goals, Adelaide the next 3, Hawthorn the last 3. So back to 18 points. Butler first possession, hand pass and turnover. Smith off the wing, collects, kicks inside 50 for Adelaide. Barris breaks it up from Thilthorpe. Pedler tried to pick it out of the sky and left it behind. Thilthorpe goes and gets it, extracts it. Hand pass to Saligo, gives it to Keys, unguarded goal square, puts it out on the full. Hit the behind post. Tom Wilson on the boundary.
Yeah, Mitch Hinge has got extra strapping on that ankle. It's probably like a scene from The Mummy, but he's got his sock back on, he'll put his boot back on, and whether he comes on this quarter, he'll certainly be ready to go in the third term.
Left or right, Tom?
Right ankle.
Right ankle.
You saw the difference when Newcomb was calm at the other end with the ball. Keys had to give that handball then.
Composure is king in September, and the Crows just don't have it tonight. Amon plays on, bangs the ball up to right half back, and off hands it rolls over towards the Williams stand.
Mitch Hinge, of course, a left footer. Would you rather have a sore ankle on your plant foot or the foot you're kicking with?
It didn't bother me, I just handballed. I don't know that. What do you reckon, Scotty?
Don't forget that Hinge has been dealing with some hip issues as well, so everything lower body would be aching. Tossed in. Hawthorn currently by 18 points. First of the footy was Berry, but he's wrapped up by the Poowong Punisher, Jai Newcomb. And Jai gets stuck into the front row as well. A couple of barbs from the Crows faithful.
Go on, Scott.
What foot would I rather have a swollen ankle on? The answer is neither, but
if you had to have one, is it more detrimental?
The planted foot.
Yeah, right.
We know Tomo's all arms, don't worry. Tossed in, O'Brien down. Dawson surging out of the stoppage. Inside 50. Fogarty's backtracking the other way. The big fist from Hardwick. And it pinballs back to Fogg, who bounces up. Curls on the left and couldn't get the angle. He's kicked it out on the full. Free kick Hawthorn. They're up by 3 goals with 2 to play in the third.
You just wonder whether this poor kicking in this second quarter will come back to bite Adelaide. All of a sudden you look at the margin, it's 18 points. All the key metrics this quarter are in Hawthorn's favour.
It's Adelaide's third shot, Josh, in the quarter that hasn't scored.
Yeah. And they've also kicked 4 points. So
we'll probably look at it and say, the 4 behinds, but it was worse than that.
Yeah.
As Hardwick marks the kick out, goes long up to the wing, spills out the back door, Moore, bowled over. Crows keep their feet, win the footy. And there's one for the junior coaches as Curtin, hand pass to Dawson, goes back to Miller. All looking for Laird. He went one-handed, spills it. Pressure comes. Taken high. Free kick for Adelaide. McGinnivan comes to tackle Murray. I'm not sure he heard the whistle. The kick's coming back to Laird, and that's a big bailout.
That there, you talk about footy IQ. That was smart by Ginnivan, just to slow the play, allow Hawthorn to get set behind the ball.
That's why I thought it could have almost been paid 50.
Yeah.
Professionally held him up. As Keane fumbles, but then gets a short kick away to Neil Bullen. So the margin's 18. Hawthorn on top. 27 gone. Second term. Kick goes down the line from Neil Bullen. Offhand spills to Scrimshaw. Hawthorn back with it. Hand pass to Ward. Handball over halfway to Moore. Kicks inside and open forward 50. The Wizard Watson hugs it to his chest. 55 metres out. Eyes an unguarded goal square. The kick from Watson. Picked off. Josh Worrell with the goal saver. The Superman dive as he punches it through between the big six. And a rush behind. Hawthorn by 19. An equal game high lead. 27 minutes gone. Second term as we tick towards half-time.
Hawthorn pressing at the moment, aren't they, Scotty? The half-time siren can't come quick enough for Adelaide.
40 seconds to go. I reckon Watson had an option that could have just popped back at him then going inside 50.
Ball searching kick to the broadcast wing. Mick got hands to it. Knocked it down towards Sicily. Now Ward slices it up to left half forward with the kick to Moore. He'll arc him board. Plenty of time to run. Load up and set it up to Ginnivan on the run. Knocked down. Dawson got back. Tackled by Butler on the drop. Curtin now mowed down. It is hot and heavy. The front on pressure from the Hawks is relentless. Ball up to come, 35 from home. They're only +6 on the inside 50 count this term, but it's felt like Adelaide's been under siege. Knocked down Butler, quick kick across the attacking 50. Berry's there, but lost his footing and handed it straight to Nash. His fend-off was a little too high, and he can't break away before the half-time siren. Hawthorn by 19 points. In a classic semi-final at the Adelaide Oval. 6-7-43, plays 3-6-24. Goal scorers, 2 to Watson, singles to Weddle, Gunston, Moore and Amon. Meanwhile for the Crows, Keys, Thilthorpe and Peatling, their individual goal scorers.
I think it's fair to say that was the best 2-goal quarter of the season so far. That was some absorbing footy. And the Hawks by 8 at quarter time and now by 19 at the half. Hawthorn have lost only one game all year. They led at half time, and that was the game out in Perth against the Dockers, where they actually led at half time and 3-quarter time and ultimately dropped that game. Meanwhile, if you're looking for a positive spin from an Adelaide perspective, that's their third goalless second quarter. The other 2 games against the Giants and against the Eagles, they went on to win both of those. So there's something for Adelaide fans, but they've kicked only 3 goals for the night, and they came in a 9-minute burst in the opening quarter. 19 points. Hawthorn 6-7-43. Adelaide 3-6-24. Corbin, Middlemas and Aaron Bryans calling the footy. Tom Wilson on the boundary. Neither of the subs made so far. Josh Rochelle for Adelaide and Chankwok Jaff for Hawthorn. The Crows picked themselves up into a little bit of a slow trot. James Sicily just doing some of the television commitments at the moment as his Hawthorn teammates wait for him, and the little Oz kickers run alongside them. And the Hawks will make their way off the ground shortly towards the change rooms on the eastern side. Our All-Australian pair are here to pick it all apart. The 300-gamer Scott Thompson, the Brownlow medal place getter on a couple of occasions, Josh Francou, but he's Hawthorn by 19 at half-time. What do we make of it then? Josh and Tomo, take us through it.
Well, that was an arm wrestle that quarter. As we've touched on already, the goal scoring really dried up. Both teams had opportunity in front of goal and probably didn't maximise. But what I liked about Hawthorn there, we've spoken about their centre bounce dominance, which it was again that quarter, so that's still a real area of concern for the Crows. Newcomb just drifted out of the game for long parts of that second quarter. He had 11 touches, he only touched it the 4 times in that second quarter, so Berry did a great job. But what happened was Ward picked up the slack there. So he's up to now 17 disposals, had the 4 clearances, 7 ground ball gets. So he's really impacted the game himself, whilst Newcomb's copping a bit more attention. So a good challenge for the Crows now through the middle of the ground, because it's allowing Hawthorn to get field position from centre bounce and, and dictate the game from there.
What we also have seen, and we've called it, you guys have called it numerous times, is just the relentless pressure from both sides. And use the analogy, there's just no room to breathe out there when you've got the footy. And I think you actually made the call last week, Aaron, that the 4 walls almost seem to be caving in on you every time you get the ball. So it's those players that are able to show and use their composure. We saw an example with Ginnivan on the outer side, just his ability to absorb pressure, the perceived pressure, and then use the ball really well by foot just to break the game open. So it's one of those games, the cream rises to the top, and we'll definitely see that in the second half. But as I said, the thing about this game is that it's almost the side that blinks first. Hawthorn are looking pretty threatening every time they go inside forward 50. I guess conversely, Adelaide have butchered some opportunities in that second quarter. They kicked 4 points, I think it was, Corbin, and what did you say, 3 or 4 out in the falls?
Three that didn't score.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw an example where Tex he ignored the little lead-up hit from Darcy Fogarty, decided to have a shot, missed a few opportunities. Keys missed one, just panicked a little bit under that perceived pressure. But overall, it's an enthralling game. The margin's 19 points, but expect a big second half.
Who would be happier? I mean, obviously Hawthorn will be happy with the scoreboard, but the actual way the game looks, the high-pressure style game, who's better suited to that, do you think?
Well, I still think Hawthorn hold the advantage, and they've had the best of the momentum at the moment. When they do go forward, to the naked eye, Hawthorn's calmness and composure looks far superior to the Crows at the moment. We've touched on it a couple of times throughout the call that the Crows' build-up looks best when they do change the angle of the ball. They do lower the eyes. There's been multiple times where we've spoken about Hawthorn's shape in their back half. Hardwick's acted as somewhat of an anchor and really controlled the back half of that ground. So when the Crows equalise that, and then their ability just to hit up at the ball, they look dangerous going forward, but they haven't maximised the opportunities when they've had that unfold.
Remember in Adelaide too, went goalless in the last quarter last week, so they've actually kicked 3 goals in 3 quarters of footy.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, look, and I think the other thing from Hawthorn's perspective ahead of the ball in this second half, the speed, I think eventually will potentially take its toll. Watson's looking dangerous. You got McDonald. We've talked about Ginnivan, the X factor as well. But just their speed ahead of the footy could potentially be that telling factor in this second half.
And we get very excited about Rochelle. We haven't seen him for 3 months. Jankov Jaff is the sub for Hawthorn, so there's some speed to come on the back flank.
I'll tell you what I will say. I was thinking throughout that second half, that second quarter, probably a good thing Rochelle didn't start, because the footy is that hot.
Yeah.
He would be clearly underdone, hasn't played footy in around 10 weeks, but potentially coming on as that sub in that second half, he could be a little bit of X factor for Adelaide.
He's the only man playing his first final tonight for the Crows, Josh Rochelle. Of course, they had 16 of those last week. Meanwhile, for Hawthorn, Mitch Lewis out there for the first time in September. He's yet to kick one so far tonight. Mitch Lewis, he only had really the one major look in that first half. Your thoughts on the SMS 0437 774 774. Stephanie, Brett, Dominic and family. Hi team, great calling tonight. Listening from Fiji. We're 2 hours ahead, so we know the result, but we won't spoil it for you. Best wishes. I like that.
Do they want to swap spots with me?
Good sports. Good sports. Appreciate all that. Hugo and Belinda listening from Lake Constance in Germany. Thanks for the fantastic broadcast. Calm the Crows. Thanks, Hugo and Belinda. Nice to hear from you. Enjoying the call from Elle in Sardinia. Enjoying your exciting call. Cheers. From Winky in Greece. Thanks, Winky. And from Colin in Dongra in WA. Power outage 2 seconds before the bounce. Thank goodness for the ABC and a radio with batteries from Colin. Nice to be here to save the day for you, Colin, and hope you're enjoying the call of that first half. Your thoughts throughout 0437 774 774. Hawks by 19. What happens next? Half-time in this pulsating first semi-final. Of course, the winner goes through to play Geelong. Will it be Hawthorn renewing their modern-day rivalry with the Cats, or will it be the Adelaide Crows, the minor premiers? And for that to be the case, they've got to turn around a 19-point deficit at the half.
Enjoy quiz shows on ABC iView.
Everyone on your buzzers.
Like Guy Mont's Spelling Bee.
Brought to you by Silent Letters.
Specs and Specs.
Correct.
And Hard Quiz.
Let's play. Hard!
Always free, always winning. ABC iView. ABC Sport Digital Radio. Your home of basketball.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2025 AFL Finals.
AFL. On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
James Sicily is in all sorts, wrestling every single man and his dog. The Hawks run away. Ward towards the corridor. Ward to Moore. Inside 50. Targeting Weddle. Got the fly in front of the scoreboard and takes them up 20 from home. And they're restless at the Adelaide Oval.
Talk about the crowd being restless. So Sicily, he's, as you said, wanting to fight everyone.
He'd want a 10-minute breather on the bench there. He looked like he was in the UFC cage for a moment.
Yeah.
Slight angle to the right, close to goal. Josh Weddle comes in and delivers. His second game back from his back stress fracture. And Josh Weddle looks right back and ready for professional footy.
How's the pressure?
I was about to say the same thing. The pressure is elite by both teams at the moment.
This is what we've come to love about September.
Cut off by Ward. Wide to Warple. Now to Lewis. Fist came from Murray. Get a little surging forward. Turn into a brick wall. Here's Murray down. Jack Ginnivan cops a head run from Josh Worrell. He has been poleaxed. It's back to Kane in defensive 50. League's leading intercept player. And they've done a lot of hard work tonight. That back six, this kick is poor. It was shallow to Michaelani. He slid it, committing to the mark and didn't get there. Newcomb rips it away, releases more. Full stride, 20 from home. And he bangs it into the hill. The Hawks pounce on turnover. And their lead is up to 3 goals.
The 2025 AFL Finals Series.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio, and on the ABC Listen app.
It's been a fun semi-final so far. It's been a high-pressure game of footy, and in that second quarter in particular, it was one for the footy connoisseur. It was high pressure, high tackling. Every possession felt like the most important one of the game so far, and yet only 2 goals. They both went Hawthorn's way, and after leading by 8 at quarter time, the Hawks now up by 19 at the half. This is finals footy on ABC Sport. Corbin, Middlemas, Aaron Bryans, our All-Australian pair, Scott Thompson and Josh Francou. Tom Wilson on the boundary, where there is a story developing. Josh Rochelle just coming out before the rest of his teammates to partake in a warm-up. More on all of that in just a moment. The news of the day in the footy world is that Stephen King is the new coach of the Melbourne Football Club. He'll be the 28th man in VFL AFL history to lead the Demons. And Gerard Whaley broke the news. He went on to talk about Nathan Buckley being a curious... or his presence was a curiosity, was the quote from Gerard, in relation to Buckley. Went on to say he was interviewing them as much as they were interviewing him. He said that he couldn't answer the question if they offered him the job, would he accept it? Nathan Buckley was asked about that by Fox Footy moments ago as part of their telecast.
Congratulations to Stephen King and the Melbourne Football Club for being able to make this appointment. I was asked that question. I said I needed till Wednesday morning. I'm meeting with Tassie on Tuesday, and I need a little bit more of an insight into that process and their timeline before I was able to make a final sort of call on whether I was willing to step into the Melbourne role. There's a couple of other things that I was prosecuting and looking at as well. When you've been there before, you're probably looking at a few different things than you would if you're a first-time coach that you're prepared to absorb and then fix once you're in. But I thought it was an honest process. It was a transparent process for my part, with Melbourne and I. At no stage were we unaware of the reality of the situation, and I felt like it was respectful. When you look at the process, it's happened really quickly from Monday morning, too quickly for me, and that's fine. And Melbourne feel they've got their man, and that's really all that matters for them.
So Stephen King is that man. He's the new senior coach of the Melbourne Football Club. Nathan Buckley moments ago on Fox Footy. Now the NRL, we're 7 minutes into the second half. This is a qualifying final, so this is 2 versus 3 at the end of the home and away season. Winner, of course, same as our system, gets the week off, goes through to a home preliminary final. The Melbourne Storm 14 lead the Canterbury Bulldogs 12, so it's a 2-point advantage at the moment for the Storm. Both teams banged up, so both the Storm and the Bulldogs carrying injuries into the final series. Tomorrow there are elimination finals on. So the first of them is going to be the game between the Warriors and the Panthers. The Panthers, of course, the 4-time defending champions, up against the Warriors away from home in New Zealand. And then tomorrow night it'll be the Sharks and the Roosters. They're both knockout finals. And then the other quali is actually on Sunday, of course, a traditional footy day in rugby league. So the Raiders and the Broncos is the Sunday fixture there for those keeping up with the NRL. We'll get down to Tom in just a moment for the latest on the Crows camp. It is a 19-point advantage for Hawthorn at the half here. Couple off the SMS. Julianne in Greece go the Hawks. Terry says loving the call, listening from Amsterdam. Greg in South Greenland enjoying the call. Thanks, Greg. Nice to hear from you. From Jane and Mick, who are in Venice in Italy, go the Hawks. And from Nick, Holly, Chris, Laura and Jaden, go the Crows. Listening from around the campfire in the Blue Mountains in New South Wales. So that is the latest there off the SMS. Your thoughts throughout the night on 0437 774 774. Scott Thompson, Josh Francou, just a word on the Hawks before we go down to Tom Wilson for the latest on the Adelaide side of things. But what would have been the theme, do you think, of Sam Mitchell's message at halftime with his side 19 up?
I think just more of the same. Yeah, I look at their centre bounce work has been outstanding at the moment. It's 8-2 in their favour, and they're getting field position off the back of that. I think just keep persisting with what they're doing and taking away Adelaide's strengths and keep pressure on the ball. I think that would be a similar message. pretty similar to what they would have gone into the game with.
Yeah, I can't see them changing too much from what they did in the first half. It worked well for them. They had plenty of opportunities, maximised some, could have probably potentially maximised more, and for large parts I think they've had the game on their terms, so I don't think they'll be tweaking too much at all.
There are moves afoot on the Adelaide bench, and Tom Wilson is across all of it for us. Tom, what's the latest?
Yeah, Corby, we were talking about Mitch Hinge, the Crows defender, and his ankle. He had a lot of work on that late in that second term. He got his boot back on. He was doing some run-throughs, but surely not moving around for 20 minutes certainly wouldn't have helped. So he's going to be subbed out of the game with that ankle injury. The man who hasn't played in 10 weeks, Josh Rochelle, gets his opportunity. He was doing plenty of warming up during that halftime break. He's going to be inserted into the game.
Amazing. He's going to start on the ground.
Tell you what, I'd like a heart rate monitor on Josh Rochelle at the moment.
Yeah, it would be thumping in his chest right now.
Oh.
I'm interested to see, yes, he'll spend plenty of time in the front half. Through the middle of the ground, will we see some small bursts where he does generate a bit of speed and then spit forward again and give him a breather on the bench? But I'd like to see how that unfolds, knowing that Adelaide might potentially need some more speed through the middle of the ground.
So he's standing alongside Jarman Impey at the moment. He's got that heavy strapping on his left knee, Josh Rochelle, but he is starting inside the front 50. Can he be the spark that the home team needs? For one of these sides, their season has a half remaining. For the winner, they'll be going through the preliminary final night. And if that loser is Adelaide, they'll be the first team in 42 years to finish on top and go straight out. The Hawks by 19, finals footy on ABC Sport. You're with Aaron Bryans.
There are no more second chances. Sold out Adelaide Oval crowd on its feet, and here we go. Meek down, bounce towards Dawson, had Ward right behind him. He brushes him off, gathers the footy, and the Crows skipper gives it to O'Brien. It was a ruckman's kick. It hit his toe and tumbled towards the 50. The Hawks cut it off. Ward to Warple in 2 minds. O'Brien nearly caught him. Got the handball out to Hardwick. Now Ward again thrusts it to an overlap, and there's a cast of Hawks through the middle. Long entry. Hardwick's kick is good. Out towards Gunston on the march, who got in front of Keane and takes the mark. 25 out, 45 to the right.
Well, we've been speaking about centre bounce all night, and the Crows did everything right until Riley O'Brien. I'm not sure what he was trying to hit or what he saw.
I think he had Taylor Walker coming at him.
Yeah, I saw that, but I'm not sure how he executed the play like that. I think if he tried to do that again, it'd be near impossible.
The slow-mo's done him dirty. Jack Gunston from 45 spears it through.
And that hurts.
2 for the night. Jack Gunston's career best season continues to grow. 67 for the year. And the Hawks are up 25 points. 7-7-49 to the Crows, 3-6-24. Opening 90 seconds of the third term of the semi-final on ABC Sport.
Well, Hawthorn's centre bounce work all night has been superb. On that occasion, Adelaide through Dawson showed terrific composure with ball in hand. The forward hand pass to O'Brien. If he had his time again, I'm tipping he'd just bang it long and deep and get a little bit of territory with the kick. All the Adelaide mids got caught offside. Turnover came. Gunston, good finish. That's a bit of a heartbreaker, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Start this third quarter for the Crows.
Kicked the first goal of the game at the same end, and now Hawthorn have kicked the first goal in all 3 quarters. And they've kicked the last 4 goals of the game across 3 quarters. Start of the third term, biggest lead of the night, 25 points, and we've got a ball up again in the middle of the ground. And the Hawks still have their sub up their sleeve. That's Chankwath Jaff. From the restart, Newcomb getting busy. Handball away to Warple. Tried to fight through the tackle. Caught holding the ball.
Yeah, fended off. That's the prior. Good decision, umpire.
And that's Stevic right on the spot. Stevic, Foot, Roseberry and Du Bois, the 4 umpires tonight. Gives it to Miller. Sends it inside 50. Phil Thorpe with Velcro for hands. Takes the mark at left half forward. And a little early understatement. This is a must-have.
Tell you what, Miller has actually been very good tonight, Scotty, hasn't he? I'm just looking at his numbers. He's had 15 disposals, 11 uncontested possessions, but his run off half back, and on that occasion, that handball receive and connect inside 50, he's been hugely influential.
He's been exceptional. Yeah. And his lateral movement and ability to test the tackle when needed, but his ball use, generally speaking, is outstanding.
Yep.
He's kicked one already tonight. They need one out of him here. Their goal-kicking machine. Riley, Phil Thorpe, right to the line. It's there. And the Crows in business in the second half. They had to have it and they got it. Margin back to 19, 3 minutes into the third. Adelaide to 4-6-30. Hawthorn 7-7-49. It is Adelaide's first goal since the 21-minute mark of the opening term. It is Thilthorpe's second for the night. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
What I will say as well, and again, it's a small sample size to start this third quarter, and we've mentioned quite a few times Hawthorn's dominance in the centre bounce. Even though O'Brien turned that first one over, they've had the first two centre clearances, Adelaide, and have obviously then looked threatening going inside forward 50. And you talk about kicks in the context of the game and big kicks. That was a huge kick there from Thilthorpe. Terrific finish.
We mentioned Miller's kick, but geez, once he extends at full length, Thilthorpe, he's near impossible to stop, isn't he?
Yep.
And the hope returns around the stadium. The crowd roars once again. The Hawks by 19 points. Sudden death semi. Both rucks come together. One down by Meek, straight to Warple. He's wrapped up quickly by Laird. Ball up in the centre circle. Tom Wilson downstairs.
Yeah, Jordan Dawson is in there. He's got his calf heavily strapped, and then we know he's got a left foot issue. He's battling through pain. Just watch for him hobbling throughout the rest of this match.
Jostling with Warple. Saligo's gone to Newcomb out of the stoppage. Keys loses his footing, falls into the footy. Hardwick wraps him up, holding the ball.
That's tough. That is a tough ball.
Yeah. Blake Hardwick in the defensive half, straight in the middle, has the footy. Fresh off a career high 14 intercepts last week. He spears a kick 10 metres to Newcomb. Everybody stopped, but it wasn't the required distance. Dawson closes. Newcomb's whirls around and then kicks straight to Warple, who can casually stroll into the 50 and lace out Gunston. How did Warple have the time to turn there? Murray was right next to him, but there was no urgency with front-on pressure.
Tell you what, obviously we think we'll go down the boundary with Tom Wilson soon, but looking at Jordan Dawson almost hobbling off the ground, he does not look right at all.
That would be a devastating blow in a battle that could be decided by the midfield Bulls.
Well, even in the middle of the ground there, when Newcomb had the ball, Dawson couldn't go at him. He couldn't change direction, and Newcomb just waltzed out of there.
Jack Gunston comes in and delivers again. He is built for the big stage. 3 in the semi-final for Jack Gunston. He had 3 in the elimination final as well. What a September this 33-year-old is putting together. The Hawks up by 25 once again. 8-7-55 to 4-6-30. Tom Wilson, what's going on with Jordan Dawson?
Well, now he's come off the ground, which is a huge concern. We know that they've already made their sub with Mitch Hinge out with an ankle injury. Josh Rochelli's out on the ground. I talked about that foot issue, which is what he was dealing with on his left foot last week. Well, this is his right calf, which is hampering him. As the boys mentioned, he's not moving well, but they don't really have any option other than keep pushing through. That's a disaster, isn't it, brother?
Yeah.
Absolute disaster.
That's a line from Apollo Creed when he speaks to Rocky in Rocky 3. He says, there is no tomorrow. He looks at him in the gym, and that's exactly the same scenario now, I'm sure, as Matthew Nix will be speaking to his skipper. You lose here and your season is done. Out of the middle, Butler tries to soccer it forward. Worrell chops it off. Curtin, hand pass to Michael Annie. Handball out wide to Peatling. Against the boundary line, feeds a handball along to Berry. Slips out of the Ward tackle. Hand pass inside. Back to Michael Annie. Kicks an ugly ball across the centre square. Taylor collects. Fights through pressure again. Every possession's a hot one at the moment for the Crows. Got it to Smith. Handball to Worrell. Works his way through it. Back to Michael Annie. Mowed down by Butler. Got a hand pass away. Play on it there from Saligo. Tackle dispossessed. Hardwick soccers it up over halfway. Lewis clever. Paddles it to Moore. Back to Lewis. Kicks inside 50. Gunston's got it again. And he's threatening to tear this semi apart. He pokes it inside 50. And the croc, Connor McDonald, comes up with it in the right forward pocket.
Well, I tell you what, the ball's ended up in the hands of McDonald, but the work of the pressure of the midfield, the defenders for Hawthorn was unbelievable. Just their relentless effort, determined to turn the footy over, eventually did, and then a bit of class and polish to finish off.
Connor McDonald, drop punt. He's to the right, and it stays there. And Hawthorn threatening to bust this game open. They lead by 26, 8 minutes into the third.
The Crows looked out on multiple times then, but that heat on the ball and just the perceived pressure and then the actual pressure that comes with that in the end, McDonald misses a goal, but that's the thing that's going to win Hawthorn this game.
Voice of Scott Thompson alongside Josh Francou. Finals footy on ABC Sport, and it's a game-high margin for the Hawks of 26. Adelaide looked for the exit, and Meek was held by O'Brien.
I know we've used a bit of boxing terminology, but the Crows are now on the ropes. You just sense one more goal.
They're
the
groggy.
Floodgates could open.
Meek high and long. Flying was Weddle, couldn't control it. McDonald slides in with the tackle on Saligo. Ball up 45 out, inside 50 for the Hawks.
Their captain still sitting on the bench, banged up, Jordan Dawson.
Quick reset. Meek down looking for Warple. At his bootlaces, gathers and flings it back towards Meek. Didn't know what to do. The big man bangs it on the boot across the body, and it bounces through for a minus score on the right-hand side. Hawthorn up 27 points. 8 minutes into the third on ABC Sport.
We'll get back to Tom Wilson on the boundary. Tom, any update on Jordan Dawson?
Well, the whole time since my last update, which has been about 5 minutes, they've just been working on his calf, but he's going to come back on. They really don't have any choice. They need the rotations.
Maybe they play him in a forward role, or I don't know. You can't carry someone with a calf injury if you can't run.
Fogarty leads up, doesn't mark, but gets a free kick, pokes it over halfway. Berry does mark, hands it off to Saligo, kicks inside 50. Barris breaks it up, knocks it away from Thilthorpe. Ricochets back inside 50 for Adelaide, but battles there, calms it down. Hand pass to Butler. He gives it to Ward, kicks down the wing for Hawthorn. In the box seat, Worrell spills it uncharacteristically. Extracted from ground level by Moore. Got a hand pass to Scrimshaw, to Nash. Handball down the wing to McDonald. Clever kick to the run of the wizard Watson, who marks, plays on, kicks to an unguarded goal square. Misses. But with every score, the game high advantage grows for Hawthorn. It's out to 28 points. It could be a whole lot more. 10 minutes into the third. Adelaide at breaking point.
The vision and execution from McDonald there. How good was that to find Watson?
Keane launches it to the eastern side. The pressure is rising on the Crows, and they'll get a little bit of relief. Free kick on the drop, as there's a holding free kick going the way of Dan Curtin. At right half back, he looks back towards defensive 50. The Crows fans will get restless with the slow switch, but it's been the only way to navigate their way through the Hawks so far tonight. Michael Annie back to the eastern wing. Curtin over the top of Ward. Gives it off to Saligo, and it's a worm burner. That might work. It's a gorgeous scoop from Pedler, who barges away from the tackle. Heads inside 50. Rochelle was the target. Desperate back with a flight fist from Weddle, and he knocks it over the boundary line. Oh, you could feel the energy rising. They just couldn't cap it off. Pedler made that look pretty.
Gee, they're connected, the Hawks, aren't they? So Weddle lays the spoil, and Hardwick walks around with his finger in the air as if he's just kicked a goal to celebrate his teammate's spoil.
Yeah, that was outstanding from Weddle. And Pedler is a player. What, he kicked 4 last week, I think. Was it 4 against Collingwood? Just the 2 disposals tonight.
Hawks by 28, tossed in, out the back door, coming, slices his way through traffic, tumbles a kick towards home from 30 and misses to the left. Hawthorn's lead down to 27 points in the first semi-final here at the Adelaide Oval. 12 to go on ABC Sport.
So we'll mark that down. 28 is the high water mark. Hawthorn's lead. A dozen minutes into this third quarter. Sicily comes wide to Weddle. Long kick down the wing. Keane arriving to intercept. In the end, he punches straight into the path of Impey. Gets a hand pass through to Chol, his direct opponent. Chol turns, moves back inside. Long kick inside 50. McDonald caught at the back, and Worrell punches it out of play. He feels like the next goal is huge in this game.
Sure does.
That was a very clever handball by Impey then, but Thilthorpe has to know that Chol's going to roll inside on his left peg.
Got to do the scouting report. 6 lefties in the Hawthorn team, 6 in the Adelaide team. Chol now opposed to Thilthorpe inside the Hawks forward 50, and Thilthorpe knocks it back out of play, so we'll do it again. Boundary Cho in forward pocket for the Hawks. Hawthorn have kicked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the last 6 goals in the game.
And the Crows' intensity just isn't lifting to the level of the Hawks in this term.
Just keeping my eye on Watson here as well at this stoppage.
Riverbank stand end. Tossed in, Chol dispatches Thilthorpe, takes it out of the ruck. Quick kick to the top of the goal square. McDonald was there, gathers, volleys and goals. And the Hawks are surging away from the Crows now. What a run they've been on. Margins out to 33. And you can feel the season slipping away from the home side. The Hawks 9-10-64. Adelaide 4-7-31. 13 played in the third term. Finals footy on ABC Sport with Josh Francou and Scott Thompson.
Well, it's amazing what D50 goals do for you. They absolutely deflate the whole team, and we're only halfway through this third quarter, but Hawthorn, as a visual, are running on top of the ground. They're leaving the Crows for dead at the moment, but once that goal was kicked, the Crows mids, all four of them, walking back to the centre with their heads down is not a great look.
No, it's definitely not a great look. As we said, Dawson's back on the ground. He's carrying that calf injury, and you just sense the damn wall is about to break here, Scotty.
Tom Wilson on the boundary.
And the Hawks have made their sub. Chungkwok Jiat is out onto the ground, and Mitch Lewis, the tall forward, has been the man who's been subbed out.
Premature end for his first final. Crooked bounce in the middle, up lets them roll. Thilthorpe had it, lost it. Newcomb kicks laterally out to the outer wing, eastern side. D'Ambrosio turns onto his left peg, kicks down the line. He's looking there for McDonald. Clever, threw a shoe at it, got it going forward to battle. And he's caught in a tangle there, and will have a ball up as he and Dawson wrestle for it. So ball up between wing and half forward for Hawthorn. Hawks by game high 33. 6 of the last 7 goals, Hawthorn goals. As Chold just grabs it from the stoppage, races away. He's mowed down by Thilthorpe. And Thilthorpe goes back in for a little push and shove as the kick slides off his boot, now to play on the bounce.
Harped on it all night, but first possession at stoppage. 7-2 this quarter the Hawks way, and for the night 30-10.
Yeah.
Adelaide just don't have the answers at the source. Midfields win big matches. Tossed in, Thilthorpe took it out of the ruck. Tackled by Chol, got a handball away. Ricochets off some shins. Back towards the Hawks. Sweeping handball forward. Butler rides the contact with a good hip and shoulder. That was clean on Smith, and follows it up with a crocodile roll tackle. Ball up just outside the Hawks 50, and the 5 bays we mentioned in the pre-game, Northern End, Wanganeen stand, Williams stand and Rashudo stand are rising and relishing this right now. The Hawks are up 33.
Have Adelaide got another punch in them yet? Chol grabs it out of the ruck, kicks it inside 50 for the Hawks. Bouncing footy, Worrell can't trap it. In the end, coming to sockers it out of there. Towards the back flank, but it's coming back. Ward intercepts. Hand pass to Gunston, pulls the kick inboard. Watson, spoiled away by Laird. Fellow diminutive footballer breaks it up, gave it to Keeney, gives it straight back. Gunston kicks into the pocket. Pete Lean under pressure for the Crows, gives it to Worrell. Hand pass to Laird, kicks along the boundary line. Sicily knocks it out of play. And a boundary throw in front of the benches. It is Hawthorn by 33, 15 and a half gone in the third.
Well, everything the Crows are doing at the moment is under pressure, and Hawthorn are celebrating all the little things, whether it be a spoil, a tackle, a smother. They are up and about.
Their back six is so structured. There were numerous journalists in the media centre at halftime, and a lot of them had changed their tune about Josh Worrell missing out on his All-Australian blazer, thinking battle has owned him tonight. Tossed in, Thilthorpe down, Saligo tucks it under one arm, wants to put them on his back, up towards the 50. Here's Rochelle. His first touch in 68 days is bang on the paint of 50. He'll lower the eyes and share it to the marching Fogarty. 40 from home, 45 to the right.
Well, that was superb from Saligo. You talk about driving legs, and that's one of the big key messages when kids are watching footy and how you drive your legs. That's a perfect example of it. Just took the game on and then had the composure to hit Rochelle on top of the 50, and Rochelle knew he wasn't going to make the distance. Had Fogarty on the lead up, and a beautiful kick to connect with Fogarty.
He's in a form slump at the moment. 6 goals from 7 games. Darcy Fogarty gets close to the man on the mark. Powers it with everything he's got. And wills it through from 45. Fogarty's on the board with his 199th major. Margins down to 27 once again. The Hawks 9-10-64. The Crows 5-7-37. Closing in on time on in the third quarter of the semi-final. Scott Thompson, Josh Francou with you on ABC Sport.
Well, you've already covered off Saligo's drive out of that contest, but from there it was the angle of Rochelle's lead just to get off the line and lead to the leg of Saligo, and then his ability, he looked like he was out of his range. He did look confident going back and having the shot, but just the calmness and the composure to wait for it to unfold in front of him, and Foggy to get then separation on his defender and just to pop up.
And the other thing Adelaide have to do, we've spoken about it pre-game, Hawthorn go through periods of the game where they can get scored against, so they've got to keep believing, keep cracking in, and eventually their time will come. But a really important goal there to Fogarty.
Keeps them in it at least. They'll need a lot to go right. 27 points down. And that's some clean service out of the middle as Dawson with the centre break. Kicks out to half forward. Berry bangs bodies with Sicily close to the boundary line. Berry goes to ground. Sicily wins the footy. Hand pass goes back to Barris. Kick smothered. Nice work Walker on the 1%er, and the ball's out of play. The crowd's involved. And the lead is 27 Hawthorn's way. 18.5 gone in the third.
It was about now this time last week for Hawthorn where the Giants went on a 6-goal run in 7 minutes. Mainly 5 goals came from stoppage in that period.
Came from 42 down, actually hit the front in the final quarter. GWS before the Hawks steadied up to win it.
Austin O'Brien down, picked off by Ward, lost his footing, but managed to get the kick towards Meek. Now D'Ambrosio out wide, tackle laid. Battle got boot to ball somehow with one arm pinned. It dropped into his lap and he's dinked it towards Newcomb. And now they're surging. The Hawks through the eastern wing. Moore has it behind left half forward. Rolls around. Dylan Moore to Chol, knocked away. Gunston though, gathers on the bounce. Low snap. And it's knocked through as Jaff tried to track it. Minus score for the Hawks. They're up 28 points. Oh, it was a tight one on Connor Nash, but he did get boot to ball.
It's always away when you're Dawson. You've got a sore calf and Newcomb takes off down the winning wing and you have to be the one that chases him.
Laird marks the kick out, hands it back to Worrell. Long kick to the wing. Fogarty rises. Can't come down with it. Wins it back at ground level. Now he's tackled. Scrimshaw takes him down, holding the ball.
Had to do better there, Fogarty.
Yep. I don't think there was any problems with that one.
No.
The locals won't like it, but Fogarty stood up with the footy and then almost just forgot that we're in a semi-final. And the pressure is coming straight back to you. Scrimshaw kicks it down to half forward. Moore the climb. Slides through off the deck to Worrell. Hand pass to Laird of the Crows. Handball to Smith. Jack says, come here. Goes and tackles him, but got him high. And a free kick for Smith. Gets out of dodge here as he gets a free kick at left half back for the Crows. Hawthorn by 28 points. Time on third term.
Everyone in the Bradman stand had their umpiring certificate there, up on their feet, calling, and got the free kick. Down the line, Meek though.
That's a mark and a half.
Right in the middle of a pack. Clunks the contested grab, then releases the run of Jarman Impey inside 50. Josh Worrell is the saviour again. Had the 3 votes in the ABC Sport Footballer of the Year last time they met. They're making it really dicey here with this fast handball chain. Murray to Miller, but they've done well. Taylor kicks out to the eastern side. The counter punch from the Crows. Neil Bullen too hot. His kick over the head of Pedlar, cut off by Battle. He himself went through a dangerous one in the middle.
Laird breaks it up, wins it back for the Crows, knocks it away towards Millerer. Hand pass in the middle of the ground for Taylor. He gives it to Peatling. Handball out to the wing. This is Laird, lifts it over oncoming traffic, back to Peatling. Looking to win a final for the first time tonight. He goes short with a kick, but can't get it to Curtin. Warple wins it back for Hawthorn. Hand pass to D'Ambrosio. Long to half forward. Intercepted by Keane, but pursued by Gunston. Keane retreats into the defensive 50. Swings the kick across the goal mouth and finds Worrell.
Once again, composure from Keane. That was superb.
22 minutes gone in this third quarter. Finals footy on ABC Sport. Hawks by 28. They did lead by as many as 33 earlier in the term.
Brodie Smith goes straight up the spine. Laird floats across. Couldn't take the mark and Battle was held. They'll quickly take the free kick because Gunston's all alone, 45 out. And every single time there's a turnover, Adelaide is caught napping.
Tell you what, that kick from Brodie Smith, that's not the kick at this stage of the game.
The free kick was definitely there and he's kicked it, pierced it straight up the middle to a 50-50 play and you just can't defend it back the other way.
That's the kick you hit when you're 2 points down with 20 seconds left on the clock. It's, oh wow, Brodie.
The triple premiership Hawk. Jack Gunston in his 19th final. Loads up from 55. That's a monster bomb. He rockets it through for his 4th of the night. And the Hawks are up by a game high 34 points. Yeah, no reason this man is playing on into his 17th season because he is elite. 10-11-71 the Hawks. The Crows 5-7-37. 6 to go in the third quarter. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
Hasn't he had a wonderful year, Jack Gunston? And every time tonight he's gone near the ball, he's looked unbelievably dangerous.
He looks fast as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's multiple goals now in his last 8 games. It's incredible. So kicks 3 last week. He's got 4 tonight. And to think about his tally for the year is now 69 goals at 33 years of age.
It's unbelievable. At Brisbane a couple of years ago, he looked gone.
Yep.
I thought he couldn't bend over, he couldn't pick up the ball, and all of a sudden he's just got life back in his body and he's moving really well.
Jack Gunston, what a quarter he's had here. He's kicked 3 in his term alone in the third quarter. And as they say, the premiership term has Newcomb in the middle. Got a hand pass out looking for Nash, but it won't count. It was holding the ball before that.
Looks like Taylor's got the job on Newcomb now.
Zach Taylor, the off-contract Crow, kicks inside the forward 50. Walker leaping at it, can't rip it down. Impey at the drop of the pack, gives a hand pass out towards Hardwick. Long kick up to the wing. There's another whistle on the play. No, there's not. Says keep moving. So Dawson receives it from Laird, dabs the kick to Pedler. He marks right on the 50. 34-point game, as wide as it's been. 24 gone in the third. And this man can give him a whack, and he's going to have a look here with the man on the mark 49 metres out.
Just reckon this is interesting distance as well. You don't want to kick a long point, do you? It's either make the distance or hit the top of the square and keep pressure on the Hawthorn defenders.
Equal career high for him last week with 3 goals. One of their lefties, Luke Pedler. In the end, he's just going to lay it up to the top of the goal square. Punched away by Battle into the path of Butler. And he jams it on the boot, high up and under to centre-half back for Hawthorn.
Caught the belly of the ball. Neil Bullen read it best, though. Knocks it back to Laird. Little chip kick 5 metres wide to Miller will work. He's got some space to read the room and assess his options. And he laces out Taylor Walker, 45 out.
Well, we've seen over the course of his career, Scotty, he's a beautiful shot for goal. Probably no more important kick than this one right now.
He stood up a lot of times in big moments. You go back to the last time these two teams played here, he was the one that kicked 2 really important late goals in that game.
From over the similar angle, wasn't it?
Very similar spot.
Yeah. Goalless tonight. Taylor Walker, long approach. They need their king to lift, and it floats across the face. Rising. Double fist came across from Meek. It sits up on the behind line. Keys is hungry for it. Excellent tackle. Pedler does the same. Chol goes to the deck. They're going to pay it.
I'm not sure what the Hawthorn boys were doing. They killed that ball over the line.
Adelaide were dog hungry. They're not ready to die yet. Pedler steps across and snaps through. And this game isn't finished. We've got plenty of excellent football to come. Margin down to 28. The Hawks 10-11-71. The Crows 6-7-43. 25 played in the third term. Finals footy on ABC Sport with Aaron Bryans, Corbin Middlemas, Scott Thompson and Josh Francou.
I'll tell you one thing I would have liked to have seen there, Scotty. I know it's a little thing, maybe it's nothing, but only about 4 or 5 blokes got around Pedler after he kicked that goal.
Great point.
Yeah, really. I would have thought all 18 players, 17 players would have got around him and brought some energy internally. But anyway, I don't know how much impact that would have, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more energy from his teammates.
Yeah.
Big game. There's no tomorrow.
Correct.
Get the crowd rocking and get back in the contest.
Hawthorn have led all night. They scored the first 19 points in the opening 4.5 minutes. Adelaide levelled the game, but then Hawthorn pulled away again and got out by as many as 34 in front. And back to 28 here on the back of the Crows goal through Pedler. Late in this third term, back in the middle, O'Brien wins it down. Great hard contested win by Ward. First possession again. Hand pass to Newcomb. Miss kicks it out of bounds. Umpire says insufficient intent. Get used to that with the last disposal rule we learned during the week. On its way to the AFL. Footy crowds in these parts will know all about it. Dangerous corridor kick, a turnover. Ginnivan at the drop, kicks to his mate Watson. He's bowled over by Murray after taking the mark. True centre-half forward.
That's twice now in the last 5 minutes where the Crows have tried to bite off a bit more they can chew through the middle of the ground. That's that kick almost trying to pierce one through the car window. I said, I might be able to hit it and it looks good, but the punishment back the other way is far too severe.
Pick 5 from a couple of years ago. Nick Watson bobs up exactly where he needs to be. He's a long kick of the footy for a little man, but searching for the extra distance, he misses out to the right. So Hawthorn by 29 points, 28 gone in the third. This is finals footy on ABC Sport. And here's Aaron Bryans.
The Crows are just hanging on here. Keane up to the eastern side, straight in the direction of Scrimshaw. Front position on Walker, cuts it off. He'll give it away. Hardwick running by. Low dart into the 50. Murray dived forward to try and stop it. Couldn't trap it. Pops out towards Butler. And it races in. Slamming it into the Riverbank stands. The Hawks, a procession now. Off turnover, they just continue to march it into 50. And the margin's blown out again. 35 points, the game high. 11-12, 78 to the Crows, 6-7, 43. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. And when your season's on the line, you can't give away red time goals like that.
Well, I'm just not sure what the Crows are trying to achieve. I don't know whether there's a message that's been sent out to take the game on with their offensive ball movement, but now 3 occasions, like they're trying to pierce the ball through the middle of the ground to contest. You cannot defend it in the areas that they're turning the ball over, and it's allowing Hawthorn with their forward play. It's just far too easy. It becomes uncontested in the end.
And that kick from Keane, it didn't give Taylor Walker any chance at all to contest. It was a sort of 45-metre dart, wasn't it, that Scrimshaw intercepted.
35 points, new game high, continues to grow in this third term. Ward, first touch, tackled, lost it. Here's Keys, hurried kick inside 50 for Adelaide. Barris, he leads Thilthorpe to the footy and runs away from him. Kicks down the wing to Meek. Here go the Hawks again. Hand pass to Newcomb, heads up front. He comes wide with a kick to McDonald. Guess who's on the lead? It's Gunston again. And Gunston marking against the boundary line, 30 metres out, right half forward.
It's really hard to stop that ball movement. Really hard. And Gunston, we've spoken about him throughout the call, how dangerous he looks. What's he lining up for his 4th goal this quarter?
That's right. 1 to half time. And they call it the Premiership quarter. He's their Premiership Hawk to bring it back. He misses. Narrowly to the right. And he has had himself a night. 3 goals in the third term, 4 for the night. Hawthorn by 36 points at the half-hour mark of the third term. Crows at breaking point.
Miller launches a long one to the eastern side. He's searching for O'Brien. Sicily came with a fist. Meek puts his head over the footy. Ripped away from him, though. The Crows through coming. Now Fogarty. Looping handball over the top to Curtin. Time to run through centre wing. He spears it in the path of Walker. He's in front of the Odie stand and they want to go. Low towards the 50. Keys wasn't expecting it. Cutting across was aim on it. Knocks down towards Thilthorpe. He spots the empty goal square and pulls the trigger. The man Mountain Riley Thilthorpe keeping their season alive. He's got 3 on the night. Margin's down to 30 points. 11-13, 79 the Hawks. Adelaide 7-7, 49. 30 played in the third term. It's finals footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Scotty, it was almost a replica kick in that we saw Keane hit that dart, which was intercepted by Scrimshaw. On that occasion, it was Miller, but at least he gave his forwards and the ruckman O'Brien a chance to compete in the air, bring the ball to ground, and then some pretty slick ball movement and a really, once again, good connect from Riley Thilthorpe to kick that snap goal.
Yeah, no, I mean, it took a brilliant goal and wheeling around, snap on his left foot to actually execute the play. So they are working quite hard for their goals, the Crows, but I just want to see them celebrate more.
Yeah.
Even when they kick a goal, we said it before, they look flat.
Yeah.
Back to 5 goals, back in the middle. O'Brien palms it down. Laird has it wrestled from him by Nash. That's just tough. September footy, got it out to Moore. He's tackled by Michael Lanning and a ball up again in the middle.
I guess that's the other worry as well. Laird's now been injected into the midfield, which is probably a last resort move that we've seen from Matthew Nicks last week as well against Collingwood.
Coming in Ginnivan just whacking one another in the middle of Adelaide Oval. Says, come now and just get on with it. Up it goes. One down by Meek, gives to Jaff. Handball away to Ward, kicks inside 50. Good intercept mark from Worrell. Feature of his night, his signature move, floating in, taking the intercept mark, centre half back for the Crows.
Heads to the broadcast wing. Thilthorpe came late, knocked it down. Newcomb was front and square. Saligo right behind him. It's a beautiful dish. He hands it to Meek. Then Barris. Handball a little hot towards the boundary line. Hardwick trying to break away from Rochelle. Turns it over. Thilthorpe was waiting inboard, but he's kicked it out on the full. James Sicily will get the free kick at right half back. Hawthorn by 30 points in the semi-final as we close in on three-quarter time.
Half a minute left in the term. Sicily goes down the line and Michael Lanning picks it off. So maybe it's Adelaide who'll get the last look in the quarter as Michael Annie long kick to centre half forward. Walker the target. They were worried about him. Ball hits the deck. Battle feeds a hand pass out looking for Amon. Crows whack it forward illegally off the deck and scooping it up a throw against Saligo. And Hawthorn will get it. As the last of the seconds about to drain out of the clock. It's going to be Hawthorn's quarter. It's been their night. They've won every quarter. And they lead by 5 goals at the final change. And the Adelaide Crows are a quarter away from being the first minor premier to go straight out in 42 years. And the reason for that is the Hawthorn Football Club. What a night for the Hawks. Trying to go one step further than they did last year. And their season ended on the corresponding night. On the Friday night semi last year against Port Adelaide, they are 30 up as we turn for home here. Hawthorn 11-13-79, Adelaide 7-7-49. The Hawks led by 8 at quarter time, 19 at the half, and now by 30 points at three-quarter time, having led the game by as many as 36. The goal kickers. Jack Gunston's got 4. He kicked 3 of them in that third term. 2 for Nick Watson, and then singles for Amon, Moore, Weddle, Butler and McDonald. Meanwhile, for Adelaide, Riley Philthorpe has 3. Their leading goal kicker again tonight. 1 for Keys, 1 for Pedler, 1 for Peatling, and 1 for Fogarty. All right, the thoughts of Scott Thompson and Josh Francou coming up in just a moment. It is three-quarter time, and the Hawthorn Football Club are a quarter away from booking a prelim against their most heated rival in Geelong next Friday night at the MCG. Let's see what's in front of us in this final term. This is Finals Footy on ABC Sport.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2025 AFL Finals.
AFL on your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Now Ward again thrusts it to an overlap, and there's a cast of Hawks through the middle. Long entry. Hardwick's kick is good. Out towards Gunston on the march. Jack Gunston from 45 spears it through.
And that hurts.
2 for the night.
Gives it to Miller, sends it inside 50. Philthorpe with Velcro for hands takes the mark at left half forward. And a little early understatement. This is a must-have. They need one out of him here. Their goal-kicking machine. Riley Philthorpe right to the line. It's there. And the Crows in business in the second half.
Dawson closes. Newcomb whirls around and then kicks straight to Warple, who can casually stroll into the 50 and lace out Gunston. Jack Gunston comes in and delivers again. He is built for the big stage. 3 in the semi-final for Jack Gunston. Riverbank stand end. Tossed in, Chol dispatches Thilthorpe, takes it out of the ruck. Quick kick to the top of the goal square. McDonald was there, gathers, volleys and goals. And the Hawks are surging away from the Crows now. What a run they've been on. Tossed in, Thilthorpe down, Saligo tucks it under one arm, wants to put them on his back. Up towards the 50, here's Rochelle. He'll lower the eyes and share it to the marching Fogarty. Darcy Fogarty gets close to the man on the mark, powers it with everything he's got, and wills it through from 45. Brodie Smith goes straight up the spine, Laird floats across, couldn't take the mark, and battle was held. They'll quickly take the free kick, because Gunston's all alone, 45 out. The triple premiership Hawk. Jack Gunston in his 19th final, loads up from 55. That's a monster bomb! He rockets it through for his 4th of the night.
The 2025 AFL Finals Series.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio, and on the ABC Listen app.
The Hollywood Hawks a quarter away from taking their campaign to a preliminary final. They are 30 in front of the Adelaide Crows. That is the margin, 30 points, 11-13-79 over Adelaide, 7-7-49. Josh Francou and Scott Thompson with their thoughts through 3 finals footy on ABC Sport.
Scotty, I was just looking at some of the numbers, and if you're a Hawthorn supporter, you'd be pretty happy from Adelaide's perspective, scratching your head a little bit. And Look at the numbers in terms of contested ball. They're plus 28 Hawthorn. The ground ball gets their plus 26. So those two numbers alone probably highlight work rate, outnumbering the opposition, outnumbering Adelaide around the scramble and the stoppage scenario. And they're really capitalising off the back of that, because inside 50s at the moment, to this point in the game, they're plus 14. So look, it's a long way back here from Adelaide, 30 points down. We've mentioned, and we saw last week, where GWS were able to put on a 6-minute burst where they could hit the scoreboard and put some scoreboard pressure on the Hawks, but you just sense they're playing a really solid brand of football at the moment. It's going to be a tough ask for the Crows.
It certainly is, and Hawthorn look to be covering the ground far greater than what the Crows are at the moment. They're up and about. They've got high energy. We spoke about the fact they celebrate some of the little wins that they were having, whereas when the Crows kicked a goal, they looked flat even after scoring a goal. So that's the challenge. And you spoke about some of the numbers that are really flattering for Hawthorn. There's two guys in particular there with Ward and Newcomb that have combined for 13 clearances to three-quarter time. They've had 47 disposals between them and 21 ground ball gets between the two of them. So there's a huge bonus and big win for Hawthorn through the middle of the ground, and it then allows them to get their game style going. And we see the likes of Jack Gunston in the front half get the ball in his hands 8 times that quarter and kick 3 goals.
And I think the other thing as well, sorry, Corbin, is if you're looking at Adelaide's numbers, and I know it's not purely about numbers and getting the footy, but Dawson, who's their only mid, he's had 14 disposals. So not enough of their mids generating enough ball, which is hurting them.
Storm win 26-18. So Storm 26-18 winners over the Bulldogs. So they've got a home prelim on AFL Grand Final weekend. The Canterbury Bulldogs next play the winner of the Warriors and the Panthers elimination final. Hawks by 30 here. Final quarter upon us. Tom Wilson on the boundary.
Well, the man leading those touches in the midfield for the Crows is Jordan Dawson. He had his calf worked on for that entire three-quarter time break. He's certainly playing under duress. Rory Laird back in the midfield again to start this term.
Hawks by 5 goals. A quarter away from a preliminary final, and will be the club's first in a decade. As the bounce in the middle, the Rucks miss it completely. Laird hands it out towards Taylor. Shakes the would-be tackle from Warple. Kicks inside the forward 50. Impey courageously back in the hole. Takes the intercept mark at centre-half back for the Hawks. Early stages, final term, Hawthorn by 30. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
His wife Annabelle and his son Zion in attendance tonight. Jarman Impey up towards the broadcast wing, and Weddle gets in front. Clunks the mark, and there's no pressure as he steps inboard. Up to left half forward, his kick to Chol. He marks just outside the paint. They're everywhere. The overlap to the goal square. Gunston put it down. Neil Bullen gathers. It's coming back. Gunston's going to get the free kick. Straight in front.
Tell you what, Jarman Impey take a bow.
Brilliant intercept mark.
Wasn't that courage?
And then Weddle, brilliant intercept mark. Keane has to just turn and put his eyes on the flight of the ball. You just cannot run blind with your back to the ball.
The Hollywood Hawks closing in on a preliminary final. And it's off the back of their A-lister. Jack Gunston has 5 in the semi-final. A career best haul in September. Hawthorn by 36 points, and they strike first in the final term. 12-13-85. Adelaide 7-7-49.
Well, we asked the question pre-game, I think, would it be considered a failed year if Adelaide lose tonight? The real concern they have now at the moment is the margin's 36 points, 6 goals, and it's threatening to really blow open. They've got mids that can't get their hands on the footy. If you had said Zach Taylor and Rory Laird would be starting the last quarter of a semi-final, people would have laughed at you, but that's what it's come to for the Crows. They've got to hang on here and keep some respectability because Hawthorn are pressing.
And what a night for the Hawks. I mean, they've waited 12 months for this opportunity back. It felt like at times that they were sort of sleepwalking their way through the regular season. Bank enough wins, qualify for September, but they wanted this opportunity again after they felt the pain last year by the width of the post. And tonight, they're going to ensure they'll be moving through to a prelim as they get the clean take out of the middle. Meek to Warple to Newcomb, and now onto the chest of Weddle. And John Newcomb, this has been the start to a career. His performances in September are special. I mean, he's a great player in the regular season, but the guys that go up a level in September are the truly clutch players, and he is proving to be just that as Weddle kicks a helicopter out towards the left and a behind. Number one rated player on the ground, John Newcombe, in his first 3 finals he played. G'd be in the conversation again tonight.
He's been outstanding. Absolutely outstanding, John Newcombe. Right from the get-go. Berry did a good job in the, I think it was in the second quarter, held him just to one disposal, but he's been massive tonight for the Hawks.
By 37, 3 minutes into the last.
He's been pretty handy too, this bloke.
Goes toward the centre square, and Impey cuts it off.
But Curtin there just ran under the flight of it. He's 7 inches taller than Impey, and he just read it better.
Jarman Impey motors away. He'll set a high bomb. Up 30 out. It nearly landed in the lap of Ginnivan. Just out of his mitts. Worrell charges into trouble. Chol brought him down. Ball bobbles out. Smith picks it up. Watson gets him. Ball up 20 from home. They smell blood, the Hawks.
That's a classic example. I reckon that ball hit the ground with no one competing from Adelaide in their back 6.
Quick stoppage, Meek down. Smith becomes the tackler as he wraps up Watson, gets some revenge. Here we go again. It's fast and frenetic. The umpires won't give them any relief. O'Brien down, but it's sharp by Moore. Dawson wraps him up. Ball drops out. And again, another stoppage as we close in on the goal line in Hawthorn's 50. They're up 37 points.
They just look deflated and reactive now, the Crows.
Meek grabs it out of the ruck, tackled, taken to ground, ball up inside the forward 50 for the Hawks.
You just feel they're pressing here, Hawthorn. Repeat stoppages, build the pressure. You just feel something's going to happen. Watch out for Watson here.
At the Cathedral end, Meek palms it down. Smith runs into Warpole, and those tackles are sticking. Another stoppage.
Just the pressure. Hawthorn's pressure has been relentless from the start of the game to now, whereas the Crows just haven't been able to match it.
They are built for September as Warpole is tackled again, taken to ground. This would have to be 7 stoppages, I think, just about in a row inside the forward 50 for the Hawks. They're about 20 metres out from their goal line.
Meek down straight to Dawson, and he thumps it out of there. Helicopter that wobbles its way up towards the arc, and Fogarty gets in front of Sicily. He'll mark it right half back. They want to go. Straight line drive up to centre wing. Saligo the target. Knocked down by Barris. Philthorpe with the crumb. Releases Peatling. Then Laird racing by. He's got Rochelle out the back door. It was just a little wide. But Rochelle works his magic with the soccer goal from 20. It's the Showtime special that we've been missing from the young star. And he turns to the Riverbank stand end and tries to inject some life into the Crows faithful. They're down 31 points, 16 to go. 12-14-86, plays 8-7-55. Spirals footy on ABC Sport. Welcome back, Josh Rochelle.
Well, that was a terrific finish. That's what he's got in his bag of tricks, isn't it? Just a bit of that X-factor, soccer background, outstanding. But again, Scott, I'm going to highlight not a lot of energy and enthusiasm once he kicked the goal. He had a few high fives, almost like some of these Crows players need a bit of an electric prod to get going.
Yeah, they do. He got excited with the crowd to maybe trying to generate a bit of energy and excitement, but his teammates gave him bugger all, really.
Yeah. Anyways, the game's still alive.
The crowd trying to play their role. A 31-point game. Meek in the middle, palms it down for the Hawks. Off the wing comes Neil Bullen. Kicks it into Dawson. Ricochets back into the rubble. Socked forward by Nash. Clever. Clean pick up Ginnivan. Hand pass to Jaff. Handball away to Warple. Kicks inside 50. Low down mark from Worrell. Not paid. Coughs it up. Watson where he should be. Misses. To shark that ball, he thought it was a goal. He turned and looked at the goal umpire and said no. Surely that went over the post. Not to be. It's a behind. Could be coming back.
Dangerous stroke the middle again from the Crows. The Hawks close in and intercept, but Taylor's taken high. And he's a bit ginger as well. Worse for wear after the contact.
Hawks by 32, by the way. 7 gone final term on that behind to Watson.
Jack Ginnivan clipped him. It's been a quiet night for what was supposed to be the star of the show. 8 touches for young Jack. Talk of the town, the media frenzy at the airport. They haven't needed him tonight. Taylor to the broadcast wing. Impey kept control of Laird, but Sicily put down the uncontested chest mark. Laird now on the gather. Under a bit of pressure, kicks in the Philthorpe direction. He flung his body into 2. Rolls to the boundary line, and Curtin with a heavy tackle. We'll get a boundary throw in right half forward for Adelaide. Down 32 points.
That was well done by D'Ambrosio. Then he didn't really want to go. He knew Thilthorpe was coming the other way, but he just went hard enough to just slightly throw Thilthorpe off his judgment.
Hawthorn by 32. 8 gone, final term. Finals footy on ABC Sport. Rucks miss it completely. Meat goes and grabs it. They've got him taking to ground.
So we've seen they've gone Taylor, Laird, and now Keys has gone in as an inside mid. So they've, with two of their more experience, have gone back to what they were doing a few years ago, the Crows.
From the restart, comes back to the ruckman. Meek hands it out to Warple, floats a kick forward. Murray in the box seat, can't complete the mark. Weddle breaks it up. Worrell wins it. Hawthorn, Adelaide still with it. Handball to Michael Annie, handball to Smith. Tried to take him on, lost, holding the ball. And Connor McDonald will be handed the footy. Hawks up by 32, 8 gone, final term. And it's a stagnant forward 50. He's got Ginnivan leading. He kicks it a little deeper. Gunston the target. Hands to it. No mark. Follows up off his knees. Gunston gives it to Nash. Floats a kick goalward and picked off on the hind line. Michael Annie takes the intercept mark. Hawks by 32. 8.5 gone. Final term of the first semi-final. The winner plays Geelong next week, and at the moment that is the Hawks up 32.
Worrell looking for an option on the broadcast wing. Curtin floated across, but Barris stood his ground. The Premiership Eagle knows all about winning in this month. He's hoping to guide the Hawks to their first flag in a decade. Barris back inside 50. Front position, Worrell put it down. Throw a blanket over them on the drop. 30 from home. Dawson got it from Murray, but gave it away. It's snatched by Meek. Weddle spun in the tackle. Too high.
Goodness me.
Very late call against Zach Taylor. He'd leapt forward to try and brush the tackle, and the arm
That's extremely unlucky.
Barely touched his AC joint.
That is soft.
Josh Weddle gets the free kick. Player on the mark is 35 out.
We saw one in the first quarter. I think it was Peatling, wasn't it, that got the free kick, got the knees, and
that one there looks like he tried to scratch his back and got a free kick for it.
Shouldn't be paid, particularly not in the final.
Josh Weddle comes in, and it fades left from 40. Gee, you could feel the state hold its breath. They're running out of optimism. Hawthorn by 33, 13 to go.
Worrell from the back pocket goes long up to the wing, spills off a set of hands and into the path of the Hawks again. Newcomb to Sicily to Amon. Handball out for Ginnivan. He's shoved out of play by Smith and a boundary throw-in. Between wing and half forward for Hawthorn.
Just feel if Adelaide can just scrounge a goal here, get a bit of energy. Because as we've said, Hawthorn can be vulnerable to kicking quick scores against, but need to somehow manufacture a clearance and a shot on goal.
52,005, so 5-2-0-0-5. The attendance for the first semi-final. A hell of a crowd as Jaff at the stoppage spun around too many times. Couldn't quite pin the tail on the donkey, and the ump said that's holding the ball. So free kick going Adelaide's way. Into the corridor. The kick comes from Neil Bullen. They still can't work it out, and Hawthorn win it. Again, it's Newcomb to Nash to McDonald. Handball to Amon. Kicks a dart inside 50, and Weddle in the famous number 23 is up and marking at left half forward. He wants to move it closer to goal. Dabs it into the pocket, and Butler takes the mark. Drops the footy at the first sign of contact, but umpire Roseberry says, no, Sam. Go back and have your kick in the forward pocket.
Tell you what, Scotty, I reckon Adelaide have been their own worst enemy in terms of the way that they want to move the ball, and their high-risk kicks back through the corridor just haven't paid off, have they?
No, they haven't. I get they need to play with a bit of risk now to try and score, but they're just true. It's the decision-making piece that's just slightly off for the Crows.
Yeah.
Sam Butler snaps across the body. Goals! Butler serves up a major, and the hot ball is rolling all the way to Melbourne on preliminary final weekend. The Hawks by 39 points, a dozen minutes gone in the final term. Sammy Butler's got a couple, and it's a brown and gold party at Adelaide Oval. Finals footy on ABC Sport. The Hawks 13-16-94. Adelaide 8-7-55. The margin 39 and growing.
It's a long, long way back for the Crows now. What I have liked, and you touched on him earlier in the call, Josh, is Weddle for Hawthorn gives them unbelievable flexibility. Started back, goes wing, and this last quarter has looked extremely dangerous in the front half of the ground.
Yeah, like he's a star. As we said, 191 centimetres. Almost the modern footballer, isn't he, in terms of height and athleticism. Inside 50s this quarter, 8-2. You just sense that was the dagger through the heart of the Crows.
39 points. Thilthorpe down to Laird. He's dancing and dodging, looking for a release. Smith finally surges off half-back into the 50. Fogarty's caught behind. And Scrimshaw holds onto the pill with the big man bearing down. He'll head back to Sicily, and the Hawks compose themselves in defensive 50. Hardwick has it in the right back pocket. Adelaide were at the top of the football world a fortnight ago, and then meteoric rises come crashing down to earth. Hardwick down the line, Watson flies, clears the pack, Laird at the back, hands it towards Worrell, tries to thread the needle up to half forward, kicks a little long, Scrimshaw's there.
Picks it off, handball to Amon, got it on the wing. Kicks out wide. Ginnivan on the treadmill running out after it. Unkind bounce. Smith there with him close to the boundary line. Smith knocks it away to Worrell. Worrell keeps his feet. Ginnivan on his backside, and the kick goes straight past him to Rochelle. He looks inboard. Jaff leaps into the night sky trying to break it up. Punches it away to Ward. Back to Jaff. Hand pass away to Nash. Hawthorn going forward again. Weddle one out in the cage and an intercept mark. Nice from Murray. Picks it off. Last line of defence. And he comes very wide with the kick to Taylor, the boundary umpire right on the spot, and that's A-OK. Adelaide footy at half-back. Hawthorn's game, they're up by 39 in the semi-final, 14 gone in the last.
Taylor kicks straight to the hole where Amon was waiting. Turnover, here come the Hawks. Inboard kick to Newcomb. Takes his time, and then off a step, spots Chol, sends it to the right forward pocket. Off hands, Chol couldn't reel it in. Picked up. And a handball towards Cumming. Adelaide straight up the spine. Rochelle met with contact from Newcomb. Ricochets out towards Amon. Spun in the tackle. He'll give it back. The Crows through Fogarty now at the defensive edge. He misses Laird. Oh, they've made a mare of this semi-final, Adelaide. And the walls are closing in. The damn wall has burst. Watson at right half forward. Steers it inboard to McDonald. And he marks 40 from home. This will ice it. And McDonald wants to share the fun. Central to the Mr. September. Jai Newcomb straight in front.
They're playing with them now, Hawthorn.
Yeah, they are.
But some of the Crows' turnovers through the middle of the ground have absolutely killed them.
Yeah.
Even when Fogarty got it then, he fluffed around with it. It was a longer kick, so it was challenging, and we were in an elevated position, but Walker was out the back. But perceived pressure now, because their Hawthorn's pressure has been such a high level for the whole of the game. Every time the Crows players get it now, they look jittery.
Yeah.
Jai Newcomb straight in front. 40 out. Crosses the paint. And ices it. The Hollywood Hawks are headed to the third act. Jai Newcomb with his first of the night to make it a 45-point advantage. The Hawks raise the bat in front of 52,000. 14-16, 100 to the Crows, 8-7, 55. 9 to play. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Scotty, I know we've been harping on it about Adelaide, just the lack of energy after they kick the goal. Newcomb nails it, and 14 blokes go up to him and bring energy to this Adelaide Oval and this semi-final. Newcomb has been absolutely outstanding tonight. His start to the game was electric. His clearance work, unbelievable. Had a bit of a quieter second quarter, but overall he's been the best man on the ground by a mile.
By a mile. And then we spoke earlier about the Crows midfield and the challenge that they have tonight through there. They're starting mid now. None of them are in there.
Yeah.
Yes, Dawson's carrying an injury, but none of the others are in there.
What a night for the Hawks. They've won every quarter and all the big moments. They're going forward again as Warple puts it on the chest of Watson. He flares it wide out to half forward for Ward. Short kick further inside 50 onto the chest of McDonald, but it wasn't the required distance. He's tackled straight away by Cumming. It's going to be a pretty limp way to go out for the Crows. I mean, with or without Rankin, this will be their two heaviest defeats of the season in their two finals. There's Jath on the edges of the pack. Hand pass away towards Ward. He gives it to Moore. Kicks to full forward. Scholl's down there, given a shove. Said all okay in the intercept mark. for Keane. Short kick finds Laird. Got to him on a half volley. Handball away towards Miller. Almost ran into a hole. Got the hand pass back to Worrell, and he can calm it down. Kicks out of defence. And Taylor at half back.
On the 45, hits up Dawson, defensive edge. He'll march through the eastern side. He kicked in the direction of Keys. He lost his footing, and it freed up Sicily in front to take the uncontested mark. It's going to be a free kick to Adelaide. So Keys lost his footing because he was pulled away from it. Hands it to Dawson. Didn't know where he was going. Had to backtrack. Back towards Keys, and Dawson again. Off a step. Places the kick to Peatling. 2 to beat. He was never a chance. And the Hawks' intercept marking game might be the best in the league. Jai Newcomb has floated back this time to cut it off. Hawthorn by 45. Tom Wilson downstairs.
Yeah, the reality of this straight sets exit is sinking in for the fans as well. There's a max exodus from Crows fans, down by so many points already. 45 points, and the Crows will sadly become the first team in 42 years to go out in straight sets as the minor premier.
And that was under a very different system, the North Melbourne side of 1983, so that's a bit of unwanted history for the Adelaide Crows. And as the Hawks work it down the wing, and Weddle just turns his man inside out. He's off to the races. 2 bounces from the pocket. Weddle misses. Gee, that would have brought the house down.
Tell you what, he had McDonald free as well, didn't he?
He's not happy about it either.
He had the blinkers on then, Weddle.
Hawks by 46, 19 gone final term. It's all cake and ice cream now for the Hawks.
I'm sure we'll touch on it in the post-game, but this will be the 9th team, top 4 side, to go out in straight sets in the last 10 years. Ever since the pre-finals bye, the ledger hasn't quite favoured those who finish up top. Adelaide navigate their way to the centre square. Keane marks. He tried to hand it off to the runner, and it was well scouted. Watson got a hand in, shoots to Moore. Now Chol back to Watson. Beautiful no-look dish. Out wide to CJ. Jaff's got it at right half forward. Loops it over the top to Moore. Runs in, uncontested. Hooks it across the face. Weddle is there. Knocked away from him, and he launches on top to tackle and holds things up. 5 out from goal, right on the behind line.
We joke about Hollywood Hawks, but some of their handball change now, they are literally taking the mickey out.
Oh, boy. Short towards Cunning, to Cumming. He almost ran into a brick wall. He somehow got out of it. Hands it to Taylor. Kick comes out of defence. Sorry, Tomo. The Hawks have won it back, and they're going back inside 50. Meets hand pass out in front of D'Ambrosio. Paddles it onto the flank for Butler. Free kick and all of that. It's going Massimo's way. Was dealt with after getting rid of the footy.
Well, I know it's all about the Hawks, but you just start to question what sort of an impact this loss to Adelaide's going to have on the group moving forward, because big losses in big games, in big finals, what will that do to the psyche moving forward? But Hawthorn have been phenomenal.
They go all the way back down the mountain, the Crows, without a finals win to show for their campaign. 18 wins in the home and away season. And of course, all 18 teams start next year on 0 points. It'll count for nothing. Kicks to the hot spot. Spills down front and centre. Butler's onto it again. Hooks it goalward, marked on the last line. And it's the mark off Keane again on the behind line for Adelaide. He goes short to Cumming, and Adelaide out of defence.
Hawthorn by 46. Out to the eastern side. The kick's a long hit and hope again. Walker tries to use the body on Impey. Couldn't free up a disposal. And a whistle going the way of Ben Keys, who may have been trapped behind play. So he has it in front of the Odie stand. Hawks 14-17, 101 to the Crows, 8-7-55. They climbed all the way from 15th to 1st, but it won't mean anything in September. Keys to Worrell, and then a short pass to Dawson. A sombre state in South Australia, but gee, what a classic we've got next week as the Hawks and the Cats collide again in a prelim. Into the 50 go the Crows. Offhand, Stillthorpe. Beautiful airborne dish towards Peatling. Jammed it on the boot towards Rochelle. Sicily couldn't control it. Rochelle gathers and goals. 2 on return for the young Dynamite. Margins down to 40 points. 14-17, 101 the Hawks. Adelaide 9-7-61. 4 to go at the Adelaide Oval. It is great to have you with us for finals footy on ABC Sport.
Scotty, just looking at some of the big numbers here and big discrepancies, big differentials. The contested ball, 127 to 97. This is in favour of Hawthorn. The ground ball gets there plus 30, so 90 to 60. The inside 50, 62 to 38. Clearance count plus 5 Hawthorn's way. It's been a total domination, hasn't it, from Hawthorn tonight?
It has, right from the start of the game. The Hawks have been absolutely clinical. And even then when the game was on the line, like, Hawks have controlled through the majority of the game. At the start of this last quarter, when you want to see a bit of fight from the Crows, the Hawks have played the whole of the last quarter in their front half. It's 15 inside 50s to 5.
The Cats have won their last 4 against Hawthorn and 6 of the last 7. So they will carry a good record in the Cats against one of their chief rivals. A handball away towards Warple. Kicks inside 50. McDonald swats it down, but straight to Millerer. Kicks out of the defensive arc for Adelaide and marks by Saligo on the wing. Handball to Laird. Back to Saligo through the middle of Adelaide Oval. Kicks out to half forward. Runs past Walker. Trying to turn Barris inside out. Left the footy behind and Barris goes and gets it. Is it a good night? Tom Barris down back to Sicily. To Scrimshaw. Back to Sicily all by hand on the back flank. Hand pass away to Scrimshaw. Short kick for Hawthorn and a big diving, sprawling mark to big Lloyd. Lloyd Meek, defensive side of the wing. Hawthorn by 40. 23.5 gone final term.
Talk about making the most of your second chances. The unwanted Docker, Lloyd Meek, now one of the best rucks in the comp. Up to right half forward looking for Chol, 2 to beat. And Michael Annie takes it from behind. He'll look for the switch for the Crows as they've done for a large portion of the night. Through defensive 50, Cumming will go for a run. Sends it up towards the defensive edge. Taylor takes the mark. Heads to right half back. Fingertips reeled in by Josh Worrell. He's had a pretty impressive night with the world against him. Disposal number 31. Up towards Pete Ling and now inside 50. Fogarty 2 to beat. Hits the deck. Good tackle from Jaff. Holds things up, 30 out. Adelaide's 50, down 40 points.
One thing from Adelaide's perspective as well, Scotty, what I really hope we don't hear is if you had a set at the start of the year, we'd make a semi and be happy with that, because this has been a terrible performance from the Crows.
Keys handball away to Curtin, gives it to Dawson, snaps to the goal square and intercept mark for Sicily. Got ample time in the post game to pull it all apart. The Adelaide side of things, straight sets out, but more importantly, the Hawthorn side of things, for the first time in a decade, back to a preliminary final, a club that knows all about September, as successful as any other team over the last 50, 60 years. As now the latest iteration under Sam Mitchell as Meek to Hardwick, kicks down the wing. Chol keeps it in front of him, paddles it back to the outer corridor. Nash, handball to Moore, and he's tackled immediately by Neil Bull and Bull up on the wing.
What's been the disappointing piece with the Crows? The Hawks have been unbelievable. Their lack of fight from Adelaide just hasn't been at the level.
They bring this pressure next week at the G, and who knows who's heading to the big dance. Out of the stoppage, Nash pressuring Taylor, toes it to his vantage. And the Irishman tries to move it towards Chol. Ricochets back to the logo broadcast side. Ward handball missed Meek, picked up by D'Ambrosio, back to Ward, lowers the eyes, chip kick. Butler wanted to give it off to D'Ambrosio and instead heads wide to Amon. He's close to the right hand edge of the square. Will swing inboard instead. Up the middle, inside 50, straight down the throat of Brodie Smith. Hawks by 40. Final couple of minutes in the first semi-final. Don't forget tomorrow, plenty coming your way. AFL Saturday at 12. The AFLW at 2. Corbin and Ben, 4:45. And then the second semi, the Q clash at the Gabba from 6 p.m. Eastern and a 7:30 bounce.
Fogarty to Michael Annie, kicks down to half forward. Curtin collects and retreats with the kick back to Dawson. Now back into the corridor to Smith. Kicks inside the forward 50. No mark there for Thilthorpe. Ball hits the deck. Fighting on. Rochelle hunting out after it. Collects and taken to the ground. It's the time for the Crows, though. And brass instruments out on the Titanic. It is going down for Adelaide. And for the first time in 42 years, the minor premiers will go straight out. Meek palms it down towards Warple. Kicks up. Into the middle of the ground. Watson can't mark, spills to McDonald. Hand pass away to Chankwoth Jaff. He goes bursting away with it. Just checks his kick, looking for Weddle. And punched away from him by Worrell, who's been one of the better guys out there tonight for Adelaide. Hand pass to Michael Annie, back to the back flank for Smith.
Inboard to Neil Bullen, true centre half back. Up the middle he goes to Laird. A little uncontested brand here from the Crows late. Laird through the centre circle to Fogarty. Hands it off to Neil Bullen. Drives it inside 50. Slipped through the midst of Thilthorpe. Picked up by Saligo. Time to compose. Snap from 30. And cap off the season with a major. Margin down to 34 points as Jack Saligo bags his 14th of the campaign on the close of the semi-final. The Hawks 14-17, 101. Adelaide 10-7, 67. Finals footy on ABC Sport with Scott Thompson and Josh Francou.
Well, Saligo, obviously he kicked that goal then, but he's been disappointing tonight. He's only had the 15 disposals, hasn't had a huge impact, actually, if any impact on this contest. Player that we probably thought was going to take his game to the next level in 2025, but hasn't quite reached the heights that we thought that he would have and was going to.
Yeah, he had one really dominant game in the showdown a few months back now, but since then he's just been going. And these are the guys where you need to see improvement in, because you can't go back to the likes of Laird and Keys, which they were doing 2-3 years back when they decided to change things up. And now you look at their mids and they're just not getting what they need out of the young group coming through consistently.
34-point game. Taylor gets the centre break, kicks inside the forward 50 for Adelaide, spills down to Battle. He just knocks it away towards D'Ambrosio, kicks down the wing, Chol hits up, no mark, spills to Keane, handball away to Laird, there's a whistle on the play, it's a free kick for a throw. The Crow throw, picked up in their waning moments of their season. And the Hawks will be handed the footy as time will tick down. And the Hollywood Hawks are now showing on preliminary final night. The Hawks book a date with their most heated rival in the Final Four. And for Adelaide, it's game, set, match. The Crows are out in straight sets.
We love our club and we play to win. Riding the pucks with the grit and Hawthorn. Come on, may you find the sky. Teamwork is the thing that talks. One for all and one for one, the way we play it more. We are the mighty, mighty Hawks.
As the membership slogan says, there's one thing about September, always Hawthorn. And so it is again for the first time in a decade. The Hawks are back in the Final Four. Sam Mitchell embraces his team as he rushes out to the young Hawks. They go a step further than last year. At the scene of their semi-final exit, they move on with a destruction of the minor premiers. Hawthorn win every quarter and every major moment. The Hawks by 34.
We're the mightiest, mighty Hawks.
The evergreen Jack Gunston kicks 5. A career best in finals footy for the man 33 years young to take him up to 551 for the year. 2 for the Wizard, Nick Watson, and then singles down the page. Newcomb, Amon, Moore, Weddle, Butler and McDonald. Meanwhile for Adelaide, Thilthorpe with 3, Rochelle with 2, and then singles for Keys, Pedler, Saligo, Peatling and Fogarty. Hawthorn, Geelong on preliminary final night. What a modern rivalry it is. I say modern, but you can take it back to the 80s if you want to. It'll renew again next Friday night at the MCG for a place in the grand final. And then there were 5. Josh Francou and Scott Thompson. The Crows are done. The Hawks by 34 into the prelim.
Well, take a bow, Hawthorn. They were outstanding right from the get-go. It was almost the shock and awe that we saw. Was it round 21 when they came over and kicked 5 straight goals? And just looking through some of the numbers and visually, they absolutely dominated Adelaide tonight. You look at contested ball, they were plus 31, which is a huge number. You talk about plus 10's a big number, plus 31's a huge number in contested ball. The ground ball gets was plus 30. So you look at those two sort of key metrics in terms of work rate, ability to outnumber, and the work at ground level. Hawthorn absolutely dominated. The inside 50, 64 to 43. Superb, 31 scoring shots to 17. And in the end, it was just a total domination of Adelaide. And I guess from Adelaide's perspective, they'll go into this post-match address and probably for the next couple of weeks and try to work out what was the number of the bus that just hit them, because they were nowhere tonight. In the last 2 weeks, after such a promising home and away season, finishing top of the ladder, to get beaten by Collingwood in the qualifying and then to come out and put up a performance like they did tonight was so disappointing, and there'd be a lot of those Crows supporters leaving tonight gutted.
Well, you can't sugarcoat that. They were absolutely belted tonight, and the numbers you just mentioned allowed them to win the territory battle, and then some of the Crows' turnovers coming back the other way. They tried to bite off more than they could chew far too many occasions, and you cannot defend it back the other way. So going inside, Hawthorn went inside 50, 21 more occasions the Crows against tonight. It's really hard to stand up when the ball keeps coming in the way it is. And we touched on how dangerous they were through the middle of the ground, and then Jack Gunston had a field day in the front half, especially in the second half. So, no, the Crows need to go back to the drawing board now, and we all spoke about it before the game, how nervous we were leading in, and that was the reason why. We spoke about the challenge to the midfield, and they went back to the last quarter. You had Keys in there, you had Laird in there, you had Taylor in there. Yes, Dawson was carrying an injury, but Saligo, you need to stand up. Berry, you need to stand up. Yes, we're saying there may be one or two short through there. They're lacking the outside burst speed. But, boys, when the game presents itself and the challenge is there, you need to grab it with both hands, not roll over and put the cue in the rack. Yeah.
And I can't help but think, and I know we've talked about this off air, Scotty, I just can't help but think if someone like a Matt Crouch, could have they got him through? I know he pulled the pin with his hip, but he was playing 3 weeks ago.
It felt like whether it was Crouch or it was Rankin or whoever it was, it wouldn't have made a difference tonight.
The big thing for me, and obviously we'll discuss it more, and we don't want to make this about Adelaide, but the loss of Rankin, and again with all the narrative, the story, the plots that were going on in the media, I can't help but think that had a massive impact on this Adelaide side. And I agree with you, one person doesn't make that big a difference, but
it felt, I mean, you guys are the analysts, you've been out there, you've forgotten more footy than I know, but it felt like tonight Hawthorn broke their will. Yep. Like that second quarter, we sat here at halftime and we sort of praised what a great game it was, despite there was only 2 goals and it was hard, it was tough. You were quoting the numbers, the contested possessions, the ground ball gets. And then in the second half, particularly late in the third quarter, Adelaide didn't want to do it anymore. No. Basically, they just broke them down, and they could not go with this Hawthorn team.
I reckon that's the perfect scenario and the perfect analogy you just said, that they actually broke their will. We mentioned it half a dozen times, 10 times throughout the call, that even when they kicked the goal and they're still... the scoreboard was within a manageable reach. There was just no energy from the group. It was almost like they put their hands up and said, let's get through to the end and reset and go again next year.
Yeah, they certainly looked deflated, and it was a high-pressure game. That first half, the intensity was huge. But Hawthorn looked like they were more willing to embrace that arm wrestle when it came, and the Crows just in the end, they rolled over. As you said, they didn't have enough will and actually want to compete for the full 4 quarters. The damn walls eventually cave in, and you could argue Hawthorn probably should have won by more.
And to think, they're missing their best player, so there's no Will Day. He's missed most of the year with a foot complaint. He had that injury, came back, went out again. He's one of their champion midfielders, and they're doing it without him tonight. Finn McGuinness is more a fringe player, and Kelshadere was the straight swap for Mitch Lewis with that hamstring complaint. But no Rankin on one team, no Day on the other, and Hawthorn into the last 4. And they're going to renew hostilities with Geelong. It's been a little bit of a bogey team for the Hawks in recent times, if you want to stretch it all the way back in the Kennett curse and everything else. But in more recent times, they've lost 6 of their last 7 against the Cats. And so they'll get a chance to do it all again for the first time in a final since the 2016 qualifying final, which Geelong won by 2 points. Now, that was this will be the 5th final since the 08 grand final that they'll play against one another, split 2-2. Since that particular time. So we'll get it again, a September special, the Cats and the Hawks. Tom Wilson's down there in the Hawthorn rooms. Call him in for us, Tom. Hawthorn into the prelim.
Yeah, James Sicily leading the group in the long sleeves. You've got the friends and family and all the close-knit Hawks who've done the travel over are welcoming in the fans. You can see Jack Gunston with a massive smile on his face. Sometimes it's easy to forget he began his career here in Adelaide for the Crows, but what a star he's been at Hawthorn. A brilliant performance tonight. You can tell it means so much to them because they were in this exact same spot 12 months ago, and they got the win here tonight. Let's hear them celebrate. So all the players, Sam Mitchell joined in the song there. They're getting around each other. What a moment it is for the Hawthorn Football Club. Back in a preliminary final. We're going to be catching up with the captain, James Sicily, shortly.
Can't wait to chat to him. What a night for his Hawks. Hawthorn last year, of course, they won their Week 1 final against the Western Bulldogs, lost to Port Adelaide in the playing game. It was the width of the post from that late James Sicily kick, and tonight they did it convincingly. And the leg in the air, 8 points at quarter time, 19 at the half, 30 at three-quarter time, and 34 points in the finish. The Hawks, they joined Collingwood and Geelong in the last four. One of the Queensland teams to join them, so either the Lions or the Suns at the MCG. The Gabba, of course, coming up tomorrow. That would make sense. The Pineapple Grapple, the two Queensland teams. I'm looking at the MCG because that is where the focus will be, obviously, from Week 3 onwards, the last 3 games of the season, all at the home of football. So Friday night, time's locked in. Second preliminary final will be played first. So Geelong versus Hawthorn. So Geelong v Hawthorn is Friday night, 7:40 bounce down, Australian Eastern Time. So 7:40 for the Cats and the Hawks on Friday night. And then on Saturday, it's going to be a twilight fixture. So this is the third year running with the 5:15 start. So 5:15 Eastern. Make your adjustments across the country. But that is the first preliminary final that'll be played second. It'll be Collingwood against the winner of tomorrow night's Q Clash, the biggest game in Queensland footy. So the Lions and the Suns, all the Suns, will play Collingwood at the MCG next Saturday.
I'll tell you what, I was just thinking, obviously when Mitchell took over from Clarkson, and I'm not sure, I can't remember the narrative again around that. Was there talk of rebuild and all that back then? Because what Sam Mitchell has done with this group is extraordinary.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
They were 0-5 last year.
Yep.
They ended up playing in a semi-final and narrowly missed out on a spot in the last 4. And then a year later, they come back and go even further. I can't wait to chat to James and talk to him about it. But it sort of felt like, it felt to me anyway, that the season's so long nowadays. It felt almost like they were just plotting their way through the regular season, knowing that they had a little bit more to give and almost waiting to get this moment back. And I'm sure both of you have played in seasons like that where you go, unfortunately, our year doesn't really start until September. And to make up for what happened last year, we got to wait till we get there. And all these home and away wins are nice, and it doesn't quite feel the same year two, does it? It's more just banking wins, putting yourself in a position to make a run at it. And what a run it's been. They hold off a GWS fight back last week, and they just power away from the Crows from the jump tonight.
Well, their run over the last 2 years has now been unbelievable. They were zipping 5 last year.
Yeah.
They were zipping 5 for the first 5 rounds last year. And to be where they are now, and Sam played the game with a bit of smugness and arrogance, and he coaches the same way, and we talk about how he goes after the players he wants, captain of other sides or not, it doesn't matter. And now his Hawthorn side are playing the same way. They have that energy and smugness about them.
The brighter the lights, the better the performance. We saw it again. The Hawks into the prelim. Back to Tom Wilson. Tom.
Yes, I've got the skipper, James Sicily. James, 12 months ago, you launched a ball from 50. It looked home all the way and it hit the post. That was heartbreaking, no doubt. 12 months on, what's the feeling?
Yeah, I always come back here and have that shot about 6 times. I think I'm still 50% on that shot. Yeah, that was awesome tonight. We sort of didn't, in the back of our mind, we obviously had that feeling that we had last year, but we didn't sort of put it out there just in case it made us a bit uptight and made us reflect on bad times. We forged ahead and we were confident. A lot of confidence this week, winning on the road after last week. We've sort of been thereabouts on the road, but haven't been able to get across the line, and that win last week has held us in good stead tonight, and thought we were able to manage the momentum when they came much more maturely. Sometimes when they get on a run like that, home crowd, 2 goals feels like 5, but I thought we handled it well.
It was a great performance. Who stood out for you tonight? I mean, you're one of the veterans in the team, but perhaps the oldest veteran, Jack Gunston. What a performance it was from him tonight.
Yeah. Oh, mate, he just keeps on doing the thing. Like, far out. I think it's just a great lesson in life, really. Like, he came here to help others, and he's helped others, and in turn, he's being paid back. So I think it's a great mindset you should have towards your teammates and towards your footy, help others, and yeah, the footy gods will look after you. But obviously, he's had an unbelievable year. I thought our mids tonight gave us a good look inside 50 and limited 40 inside 50s against, so the game was able to be played in our front half. and we're able to defend really well behind it. So it's a really even spread tonight. I feel like that's sort of the tail with us. Don't rely on too many people. We get a good even contribution. It's a good team effort.
It's always a hostile environment here. A lot of the talk was about Jack Ginnivan, but I felt like you were the centre of attention there a few times with the Crows forwards. Is the unsociable Hawks back, do you think?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't go out with the intention to cause fights and a ruckus. Sometimes it's just a bit of competitiveness that comes out. But yeah, I think the start helped us so much, even though it was only like one goal or something at quarter time. But to be able to kick 3 on the bounce to start made us really settle. So yeah, that was a great start by us.
Let's send you up to our experts. We've got Scott Thompson and Josh Francou.
James, congratulations on the win tonight. Outstanding performance. And just going back to what you just spoke about, the start, the question I was going to ask is how much emphasis was put on during the week to start well, particularly Adelaide coming off a pretty ordinary loss to Collingwood. How much emphasis was placed on that?
Oh, I think every week, every team has good intentions to start. It's always, let's hit them early and let's get a big start. But it's all optimism and hope, really. You're just hoping that it actually happens. You can have the right mindset, the right intent, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Like, we felt like we had that last week, and we conceded like 12 inside 50s before we had one. So, yeah, we spoke about trying to start well, but it never always happens. But I thought we had the right intentions, and we were able to do it tonight.
Were you surprised overall at Adelaide's, I guess, lack of resistance tonight?
I think when you're the number one team in footy, everyone's chasing you, everyone's scouting you so hard. And because you're number one, you sort of don't go away from the thing that's been working. But it also probably makes you easily to scout. So I thought we were able to get on the same page and limit their the way they moved the ball and the way we defended. So, I mean, that's always the challenge and the struggle when you're the best all year. You don't try to change too much, whereas sometimes when you're around 6th, 7th, 8th, you're trying to find ways to match these guys and get up to their level, and sometimes you find a little bit of gold, and sometimes that sort of, that helps, you know what I mean?
James, well done tonight, mate. It was a pretty clinical performance by the boys. You briefly touched on the midfield earlier. Their ability not only to win the clearance, but that ground ball and win the territory battle obviously gave you front half footy, and your ability to defend from behind, as you touched on, made it really hard for the Crows to penetrate. The arm wrestle that you embraced in that first half, with the pressure being as intense as it was, what was the message at half time? Was it more of the same? Because once the dam walls opened, you pretty much bullied the Crows in the second half of that game.
That's always a focus for us. Every minute of the game is pressure. Tonight was it was the equal first for pressure factor or pressure differential, so that was to be expected. So yeah, we knuckle down on that stuff. We value it so highly, and also our work rate. So everyone loves the old post clearance contested possession as a sort of insight to work rate, and they're awesome at it, and we feel as though we're pretty good at it too, and it was something that we needed to match them with tonight.
The other thing that stood out was, do you have a conscious focus to celebrate the little things? We noticed the energy and enthusiasm amongst your group, whether it be a spoil, a tackle, a smother. There was high energy and celebration versus the Crows looked flat.
That was something that's front of mind for us. I feel like during the year, playing away, we lacked a bit of soul and a bit of spirit. But when we're at the G and it's a big atmosphere and we get some external validation by the things that when we do good things, when you're on the road, you don't get that external validation and that excitement that the crowd gives you in the atmosphere. So when you're in a hostile environment, we really put a focus on getting around each other, giving each other that validation that was something that we really value. And I feel like it just sort of can snowball from there and get on a run. There's nothing worse than when you're on the road and you feel like you're on an island and it feels weird that you're celebrating things and the crowd's not really celebrating. But yeah, we feel like if we invested in it early, it'll be easy to do.
You got a great turnout tonight. James Sicily, the Hawks skipper, with us on ABC Sport after their 34-point semi-final victory. James, it's Aaron Bryans here. I've got to ask you about your maturity. So in the build-up, there was a lot of theatre around the Hollywood Hawks and Jack Ginnivan coming into town. But I feel like tonight you were the heavyweight Hawks. I think it wasn't about the Sellies and it wasn't about Hockball, but you were so composed and mature. Has this side evolved into a newer level?
Yeah, I think so. But that happens as you get a bit older and you play a little bit more footy together. I think we're sort of perhaps maybe used to that sort of stuff coming from the media and that narrative that the Hollywood Hawks and the celebration. But inside the four walls, we just worry about working hard, supporting your teammate and trying to bring a tough brand of footy. And when we feel like that sort of unlocks the funnest stuff in the game, like the goal kicking and the celebrations and scoring good goals. That's sort of a byproduct of the things that sort of happen when we're tough and we work hard.
Well, speaking of that composure and maturity, James, and the outside noise as well, there was a lot of it in the middle of the season when you were suffering from your hip injury, your disposal wasn't going overly well, had to take some time away from the squad, and there were calls for you to relinquish the captaincy and that maybe the leadership wasn't there. And you've had an amazing last couple of months of the season. How are you feeling at the middle part of the season to where you are now?
Yeah, I'm obviously feeling better. It helps when you play a bit better. Yeah, I mean, I tried not to consume it. It's funny now, like, if you click on something once, all of a sudden it's there all the time. So I try not to consume. I reset my history and my data cache, so I was sick of seeing myself, and I felt like that held me in good stead. And the time away helped me reset myself around, well, if this is the best I'm going to feel, then all right, let's knuckle down and just cop it. I think that got me the most was probably just dealing with being in pain. I dislocated my shoulder early last year and then dealt with that all year, and then obviously had some hip and groin stuff, and it was just a mental drainer, to be honest. So it was a good mental reset more than anything to just sort of get me back on track. And there's some things that we've done to help me manage the pain and get me to a position where I'm really confident and able to train. But yeah, I mean, it was hard, but it's character building, and you always find different perspective when things are tough. And at the end of the day, this is a dream job, and I love doing it, even if you get the shit canned out here. So it's all good.
James Sicily on ABC Sport. James, it's Corbin Middlemas here. Watching you last year, it felt like every regular season win was a huge deal. You're obviously chasing the season the whole way through, whereas this year it felt like you're almost just plodding your way through the regular season, and it felt like you were waiting for September to start to bring out your best footy. Is that a fair observation on what this year's been about?
Look, honestly, we'd really rather win every game of the year. But as I said, when teams are on the rise and you do some good things, you then become heavily scouted, and feel like teams try to worry about you and the team and sort of stopping what we're good at. So being able to find some different ways of playing and not just playing fast and open side and taking a whole lot of risk. We still want to play an attacking brand, but teams are pretty good at defending us, so I feel like that's where some maturity has come, is just finding different ways to score. And we've been able to have some ugly wins this year, and we're happy with that because it just tells you that your product and your system works, and it holds up when it's tough. So, yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you sort of lose. You sort of learn some things, and yeah, it's awesome to be playing some good footy at this time of year.
Can you win it?
Yeah, why not? Of course we think we can win it.
You obviously got the Cats coming up next week. You feel like you owe them one. They've won 6 of the last 7 against you, including each of the last 4.
Yeah, obviously another big challenge. They've had the ability to just be cherry ripe and manage their players. So no doubt they'll be pretty fresh, and I think we're used to having big games against the Cats on Easter Monday. So, I mean, we can take some good stock with the 2 wins that we've had against some good teams, and it's going to give us a lot of confidence, and we can't wait to get back to the G on some neutral ground, and can't wait for it. It'll be an unbelievable atmosphere and a sick build-up, and surely we're due to beat them.
The last time you left those change rooms, James, everyone was saying, they can't make the 8. They got a tough run home, and now you leave there tonight and you're going back home to play in a prelim. Enjoy everything about the week ahead. We'll see you on Friday night.
Thanks. Cheers.
James Sicily in the Hawks rooms. Amazing the turnaround from that round 21 game. You're looking at Hawthorn's run home at that particular stage, and you were thinking, oh no. The ladder predictors were out and what it meant for Hawthorn. After that point, they played Collingwood, Melbourne and Brisbane. And people were saying, look, I'm not sure they're going to win enough games. They're not going to get there. And instead, they leave here tonight, having taken out the minor premiers. First time ever that 8th has beaten first in a final series. So in the top 8 system, first time ever, 8 beats 1.
I think I was doing the ladder predictor as well about 5 rounds out, and I think I had them missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, now they're in the prelim final.
And then they tore apart Collingwood. They beat Melbourne, and then they had that little slip up against the Brisbane Lions, but still qualified in 8th, and they didn't have any issue with that for the first time in club history. They win consecutive finals on the road. Go to Sydney, beat the Giants, go to Adelaide, take out the Crows, and now they get to go home and play at the MCG against the Cats on preliminary final night on Friday. And then, of course, they win that. And they'll play for all the marbles in a fortnight. This is Finals Footy on ABC Sport. Great to have you with us. Just repeating the confirmation of those start times for the prelims. On Friday night, the Cats and the Hawks starts at 7:40 Eastern. And on Saturday, Collingwood will play the winner of the Q Clash, the other semi-final tomorrow night, the Lions or the Suns. That's a 5:15 start Saturday Eastern time. So they're the 2 preliminary final times locked in. The Hawks won every quarter tonight by 8 at quarter time, 19 at the half, 30 at 3/4 time and 34 in the finish. Corbin, Middlemas, Bryans, Scott Thompson, Josh Francou. The Hawks, obviously, we know that they won't have Will Day. You'd assume Kel Shadir's hamstring is more than just a 1-week thing. Mitch Lewis was subbed out on the run tonight. They're not going to get McGuinness back. They won't get Morrison back. So at least 3 guys have a line through them, and Kel Shadir, you would think, is going to be up against it. Can they challenge the Cats from what you saw tonight?
Look, I think they can. I've got to say, probably a couple of days ago, I was thinking it's Geelong by how much? And that's to win the flag I'm talking about. But next week, look, absolutely game on. What I saw of Hawthorn tonight, that was super impressive and well balanced all over the field, forward, behind the ball, in the midfield. Probably the only thing is there's no absolute superstars, and again, I don't want that to come across as disrespectful. I mean, Ward and Newcomb and Warple, they're really, really good footballers, don't get me wrong, but maybe that's the only concern. But gee whiz, they're going to be hard to beat next Friday, the Hawks.
They're really well balanced all over the field. What I liked about them tonight, they really embraced the arm wrestle and he spoke about their pressure factor. That was their highest it has been all year. But on top of that, they had the ability to change gears at different times. So when it was up and going from they had momentum, they generated speed in the ball. When the Crows got a bit of a run on and willed their way back into the game midway through that first quarter, the Hawks said, well, let's take the sting out of it here and we'll just maintain possession, kick mark, change the angles and have some slower build-up just to wrestle that momentum back. So they had the ability to get the game on their terms really quickly tonight, and that was a space that we touched on coming into the game, that teams, including the Crows, in the last game that they played each other out here, had the ability to score quickly and without any goals coming back the other way. So there's definite improvement in that Hawthorn team since then. And yeah, I totally agree. Next week's a huge game against Geelong, and one that they are well and truly alive in.
And I think Aaron, the alarming thing from Adelaide's perspective is they've been dismantled twice by sides that have really pressured them.
Yeah.
And that's the alarm.
And that's what excites me for the Geelong matchup is the Cats were fear-inducing and awe-inspiring against Brisbane because they were able to shut down the Lions' uncontested brand. But Hawthorn don't play that way.
No.
And the Cats have had arguably a very soft draw since their bye. They'd played one top 8 side before the finals, which was the Giants. So they've kind of coasted between the bottom 6. Have they really had a side that can provide the front-on pressure that Hawthorn could do next week, and maybe that is the solution to unravelling what is one of the best structured sides we've seen in the last couple of decades?
Yeah, look, the funny thing about that as well, I thought exactly the same. They've had a really soft draw, Geelong, coming into the finals, but then you sort of balance that with, gee whiz, they got some experience that have been there and done it. They're hardened, and are they just ticking along and, they've just cranked up the pressure come finals time. But like you said, it's going to be an enthralling contest next week.
The win over GWS was their first road finals win since the 2015 prelim over Fremantle, which that was at a ground called Subiaco Oval. So kids ask mum and dad about that. That's a ground that's no longer in use, but that's a long time ago, and they back it up with consecutive road wins for Hawks to book their place in the Final Four. What a game it's going to be. We'll talk about it all week. Geelong versus Hawthorn at the MCG next Friday night. Still a game to come this weekend, of course, tomorrow night, the other semi-final. There's only 4 games left in the season. So the Brisbane Lions play Gold Coast tomorrow for the last spot in the Final Four. The winner plays Collingwood in that Saturday prelim. All right, the other side of it. First straight sets exit by a minor premier in 42 years. The debrief is going to be fascinating. And obviously, I imagine there'll be a lot of the focus on Isaac Rankin and his absence. By the way, he's got a game to serve, so he won't play round 1 next year. That's the other thing, that he'll be absent for the Crows. Before I get your thoughts, let's hear from the Crows themselves. Tom Wilson in the Adelaide rooms. Tom.
Yes, thank you. We've got midfielder Jake Saligo. Jake, first finals appearance for the club in 8 years, and you've gone out in 2 straight weeks. What's the immediate feeling in the rooms?
Obviously, pretty flat. Everyone's, we didn't bring our best footy in those 2 weeks, and it's probably a bit of a lesson. It shows, if you're not your best in finals footy for consistent 4 quarters, teams will just get on top. So it's a massive learning for us. Hopefully hold us in good stead for the future.
They kicked the first 3 goals. Did you come prepared into this game, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we like to think that we came prepared, but, obviously they're a good side and they're a good midfield side. So, we did our best, but, unfortunately it didn't go the right way this week.
You got back in the game, but what happened sort of in the second half where they really kicked away?
Like I said, mate, if you don't bring your best footy in finals footy, and we've learned that, you get goals piled on you. So, you got to bring your best, and unfortunately tonight we didn't do that. So,
Scott Thompson and Josh Francou are upstairs.
Jake, bad luck tonight, mate. Tough couple of weeks for the club. Obviously, Hawthorn got the jump early. I thought you wrestled your way back into the game through the mid part of that first quarter, and then Hawthorn probably controlled the back half of that quarter again. What was the message at quarter time where Newcombe really got off the leash? Was it a strong tag or message to Berry in the second quarter to try and nullify his influence on the game throughout that second quarter?
Yeah, absolutely. It's he's a gun midfielder, so we had to try and stop him. I thought Bez did a great job in that second quarter on him. The game's full of momentum swings, and unfortunately we probably couldn't stop their momentum when they had it, and they did it to us. So that's probably where we lost it.
Yeah, they were certainly strong around the contest and won that territory battle with the ground ball and played the game in their front half. Was there anything mentioned around just embracing the arm wrestle for as long as you can? Because over the course of the game, it just seemed like the will and the want that the Hawthorn team had far outweighed what across the board when you talk weight of numbers than the Crows had on the course of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, mate, if you don't bring your best footy in finals, it's a massive learning curve for us. We didn't bring our best, so unfortunately Hawks were able to get on top and ride that momentum in that first quarter especially, and in that second quarter. We weren't consistent throughout the 4 quarters, and that showed on the scoreboard. So, unfortunately, that's how it is.
Mate, can you give us a little insight maybe to the messaging throughout the third quarter when the Hawks really started to get on top? It looked like your offensive ball movement became a lot more attacking, and at times tried to bite off a bit more that you could chew through the middle of the ground, and the turnover was too severe. So was there a message sent out to say, boys, let's start to take the game on a bit more high risk and see if we can break them open? Was that a message that came out at all throughout that third quarter?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how much they were up, but we knew we had to take a bit of a swing at them. The back of that comes a few turnovers here and there, but it is what it is. We've got to try and win the game at that point, so we've got to take it on and use the corridor a little bit more. But unfortunately, they were able to stop it and stop our momentum. So they did a great job tonight. They're a good side.
Jake, can you put your finger on why you didn't bring your best tonight from a collective point of view?
To be honest, mate, can't really put a finger on it. It's one of those things. You sort of will probably review this game and understand where we went wrong. And I don't know, to be honest. Sorry.
No, that's okay, mate. And just final one from me. So clearly the narrative, clearly all of the media has been centred on Isaac Rankin. I can't help but think and feel that that's had a really negative impact on the playing group. Would that be fair to say?
I don't know. We love having Isaac in the team, and he's around the club for the last 2 weeks, and we love and support him. So you can look at it 2 ways, really.
Jake Saligo with us on ABC Sport after the Crows' 34-point semi-final loss. Just on Isaac Rankin, Jake, I've got to talk about the midfield mix. It feels like Matty Nix has been trying to fill that void over the last couple of weeks. He tried Sid Draper out there. Last week it was more Rory Laird. This week it kind of felt a bit more Zach Taylor. But do you feel unsettled as a group that you're just trying to fill a hole that maybe you don't have the player to do that job?
It's a hard one, eh? we had a few people go through tonight. You know, DC went in there, big body mid, and he looked good, and Zachy Taylor came in. So, yeah, we try and... It's good that we got the depth to do that. But, yeah, unfortunately, they probably got on top of us tonight, and, yeah, we didn't bring our best footy. So, yeah, that's how it works, isn't it?
How have you seen your game, Jake? And this isn't a knock on you personally, because I love the way you play your footy, but last year it felt like you were on a meteoric rise and you were heading to a breakout season, and it's probably stagnated in terms of numbers this year. How have you seen the season so far?
Oh, look, it's a hard one. I've tried to... Probably didn't bring my consistent footy each week, and that's probably the hardest thing about AFL footy is backing it up each week. So done a lot of work with Dawson, the psychologists and stuff, and yeah, and that's probably the biggest learning curve this year, and hopefully I can work over the off-season to get myself better in that space. And yeah, look, I'm only young still. I'm still learning all these things, so I'm definitely not the finished product.
Jake, an easier one to finish. You live in the most energetic house in Adelaide. How did you go controlling Josh Rochelle this week, knowing he was about to spring out there in a big-time final?
Nah, he was electric tonight, especially when he kicked the goals. The fans love him, so I tried to make him a little bit relaxed in the house, but it was great to have him back out. He's a great spark for us, so we love him.
Jake, is Tex going to go around again?
Oh, who knows, eh? Not really sure, but hopefully he does, because we love him, and he brings energy around the group, so fingers crossed.
Enjoy your summer, Jake. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it, mate. Cheers.
Jake Soligo in the Adelaide rooms after their straight sets exit. First minor premier to do so in 42 years. First under the current system. First minor premier to lose to 8th.
Tough ask, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, a loss like that coming on ABC.
He's a 22-year-old who's trying to speak on behalf of the club and everything else. But yeah, we appreciate his time.
Yeah, and he's still so raw. And some of the questions are hard to answer when he doesn't have the answers himself. And the challenge is like that. The reality, they don't have the depth. That's why Taylor went in there and Laird went back in there and Keys went back in there. We've spoken numerous times now about their inability to compete consistently through the middle of the ground, and they're lacking. We mentioned a Rankin earlier, or Rochelle, when he's fit, can go through there and generate a bit of speed and lateral movement and burst out of a contest, which we just didn't see tonight. And it was patchy. We had one play, I reckon, where Soligo took the game on the wing, changed the angle of the ball, hit up Rochelle, and then he went forward and they kicked a goal. But other than that, it was just too few and far between on any damaging play away from contest for the Crows tonight.
I think they were really hoping that Sid Draper would be an instant sugar hit. He was supposed to be the most ready-made player of the draft crop and just can't seem to consistently stay in this side. When he's been given the senior opportunities, he's just not positioned well and doesn't seem to understand the structure. I'm sure he'll be tremendous, like it's his first year.
Yeah.
But they probably were relying on a bit of that depth there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a tricky one, isn't it? Because he was a sub numerous times throughout the year, and he's finished the season in the SANFL. Who knows how his body is, but he didn't finish off too strongly.
Matthew Nix is talking right now. Let's drop in on that.
What's your emotion right at this minute?
Disappointment is the overriding one, but also there's also pride there in the season that we put out. But the disappointment one seems to override that at this point. It's just similar to our playing group and a lot of our staff. It's for a season where we did whatever we had to do to give ourselves the best opportunity. Finals footy gives you feedback, doesn't it? And so we've got probably the best feedback we've had for a number of years. That we still got a fair bit of work to do.
8 goals and 10 goals in the 2 finals. Matthew, after being the most devastating offence in the comp, what went wrong? What is it about finals that doesn't allow you to play in that same way?
Yeah, I think. The obvious one is the speed and the intensity and the increasing pressure that comes with finals footy. And until you've actually been there and experienced it, it's a hard one to know what to expect. We got 2 looks at it this year. Some of our players, their first 2 looks. And if you watch the way we play, we're nowhere near our best footy. But you've got to give credit where it's due. The reason that teams are in finals is because of the pressure they bring. They don't allow you to move the ball maybe ways you do during the season, and you come up against different challenges. But our biggest learning out of all of this is that there's still work to do. So although, as I mentioned, we're incredibly proud of the home and away season we put out there, we walk away tonight with, unfortunately, just a few what-ifs. We've still got things we need to be better at. We being everyone, staff, our playing group, and we will get that. We'll get that organically. We'll get that through playing the last 2 games. We'll get that through the 10 minutes we just spent sitting in the room reflecting on, our tonight's effort.
You don't guarantee to be there again. I think that's one thing we know for sure. So Adelaide will have to win all those games again to qualify. And as we know, the bar was particularly high in season 2025 after 18 wins. Their 2 heaviest defeats come in their 2 finals. So 24 points last week and 34 points here tonight. That was Matthew Nicks speaking live at the moment in his press conference. More on that to come tomorrow on SA Grandstand in particular, which you'll be on, and I'm sure a full deep dive on the fallout for the Crows and what it all means.
Phone lines will be open as well, so can't wait to hear from the Crows community who'd be very flat about the way this season has come to an end. The reason I wrapped up that interview with Jake Saligo asking about Taylor Walker is my eyes immediately went to Brodie Smith on the siren just to see how he was reacting, considering he's probably one of the players who was more on the fringe of selection, and he's out of contract, 33 years of age. He was pretty calm. Taylor Walker looked distraught. And I don't mean that from an emotional perspective. He wasn't crying or sulking or banging his arms around. He was just frozen. Wouldn't really speak to anybody. Looked kind of lost as he plundered his way around the ground. And I kind of felt leading into the final series he was a lock to play next year unless they won the whole thing. And now he almost looks like he's caught in 2 minds about what on earth do I do from here?
Of course, the only other time he went that deep, they probably thought they would have a sustained run at it in 2017. It took them 8 years to get back, and 8 years and counting since they've won a final since that particular stage. We've got a hot minute before we're out. The Hawks won every quarter and every moment to book their place in the Final Four. They will play Geelong for a spot in the grand final next Friday night. Collingwood will play either the Lions or the Suns. Who wins that, Scott?
Oh, I thought Brisbane were good enough a few weeks to win the whole thing, but after last week's performance, I'm undecided and I got caught up in the romance of Gold Coast.
Okay. Josh?
Neil and Hipwood out.
Yep.
Suns win.
Suns win. Jeez. Joy to share it with you tonight. Thanks heaps for your work. Not just tonight, but right across the season as well to both of you, Josh Francou and Scott Thompson.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Great to have them with us. Thanks to you, Aaron Bryans. Well called, as always. Thanks to Andrea Williamson, to Tom Wilson for all of their work as well, and to Mitch Turner back in the studio. We are done from the Adelaide Oval. It is cricket season here. The Adelaide Crows out in straight sets. The Adelaide Oval will be changed around. The Hawks by 34 points. They're headed home to play in a preliminary final. Good night.